How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you here?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final scene of sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent 200.
Literally.
So
Not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because
Yeah.
I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is that
problem.
what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under, if
streaming?
you're going to do it,
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
And I've learned a lot from Karlyn Borysenko, who goes in undercover with the left. And I've figured out from looking at her work, like when I first saw her stuff, I was like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. I need to like connect with her. And she actually, the first time I got assaulted in 2025, followed me and sent me messages, and she checked on me for months, just privately. It was so nice to have somebody like, are you okay? But I could tell she knew what she was talking about, and I subscribe to her. I look at all her stuff. I've learned so much, and I thought I knew a lot. I've learned so much.
What's up, everyone? What's up? Reagan said the past month or 1.5 months felt like nothing to me. Yeah, Reagan, what the fuck happened to this year? Guys, it's almost June. It's almost June. How is it that I feel like I've accomplished nothing this year? And I know that's not true. I know we've done a lot. We've actually, like, I think we've managed multiple like nationwide volunteer efforts, and we're still like trying to get the data together on those because this is a volunteer thing. It just doesn't, like, it's just the way it works. Okay, it's the way it works. But like, that's actually a pretty big fucking deal. We have covered, I mean, countless hours of protest coverage. That's a pretty big deal. You know, I guess we've done some stuff, but man, like what in the holy hell is going on? Like how is this year going by so fucking quickly? We are almost halfway done the year. You know what? Listen, I've been doing stuff like this for a long time, and here's what I know. Sometimes things always come about at the right time. And I always feel like I haven't done enough. I always feel that even though I'm working on multiple projects at any given time, I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Does anyone else feel like that? I always feel like literally no matter how much of my life I am dedicating to this stuff, I never feel like I'm doing enough. And then half the year goes by and I'm like, what have I even accomplished? Like, what have I even done? And then I even feel worse. So I know we've done a lot of stuff, and I know, yeah, well, she didn't say Indy, no. Well, you know, well, no. Yeah, I always feel like I'm behind. Pride Month. Oh, God, we have Pride Month. Oh, my God. I've got another undercover adventure plan for that, by the way. We should probably talk about that soon. We should probably, yeah, as it turns out, time actually might be real. Don't tell Jennifer. Let's just keep this between you and I, okay? We don't need to tell Jennifer this. As it turns out, time might be real sometimes. Whatever. I've still got a lot of things I want to do. I've got a book I need to finish. I've got a dictionary I need to launch. I've got a speaking tour that I would like to do this fall in libraries. I've got more undercover things that I want to do. I've got enough. I've got enough. We've got mapping the modern left stuff to work on. There's more than enough shit to do. And you know what? Maybe we should look on the bright side here. Let's ignore the fact that 5 months of the year are already gone and celebrate that we have 7 months left. Well, you know, I have been, as you guys know, listen, I'm going to say this. I've been really trying to prioritize getting my ass out of the house this year. Partially because when I get out of the house, I do more steps, and obviously I'm losing weight and I want to get as many steps in as possible. So getting out of the house to walk around and go somewhere and do something is a benefit. But even just from like a mental health perspective, do you guys have any idea how little I have left my house in the previous 3 years? Do you guys, even 4 years? Actually, more like 4 years, probably. Do you guys, for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and even I would say for half of 2025, so we're talking about like 4.5 years, do you guys realize how little I have left my house? Because I've constantly been doing this. All the time. And I have to say, like, even from a mental health perspective, It's a good thing that I have a new car that I want to play around in and drive around because it's really, really, really fun to drive. It's a good thing. It's a good thing from a physical perspective, and it is a good thing from a mental health perspective because God knows I've almost had more than one breakdown doing this because researching the most dystopian topic on the internet is not always the easiest thing in the world, particularly when you are being attacked constantly by people who claim to be anti-communist but don't actually even know what communism means. Anyway, so yeah, half the year is gone. Well, almost half the year. Are we watching a new talk today? Why do you doubt me? Why do you doubt me? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Why would you doubt me on this? You know, the thing is, Sophie Lewis has a new book out. It's called Femphilia. I don't really know what it's about, but I follow Sophie on Instagram, and for some reason she hasn't blocked me yet, and I can't quite figure out why, but she hasn't. And I hope she doesn't, because I've never been anything but nice to Sophie, if we're being honest about it. And I really feel like Sophie hasn't been as nice to me as I've been to Sophie. I have put thousands and thousands and thousands of more eyes on Sophie's work and Sophie's interviews than she ever would have gotten without me. I'm not saying she should thank me or anything, even though maybe that would be nice, Sophie. You're welcome. I'm just saying that, you know, maybe she doesn't need to be rude. We don't need to be adversaries, Sophie. We love you. We revere you. You are the queen socialist goddess of my YouTube channel. I don't know why we can't just get along, Sophie. I know we aren't comrades. I know we are not in solidarity with each other, and that's fine, Sophie. I don't want to be in solidarity with you, but do we really have to be rude? Do we have to be rude? I don't think so. Anyway, I don't know why you doubt me, because Sophie has a new book out called Femphilia. Because Sophie has a new book out, Sophie is giving interviews on podcasts. And I was on Instagram earlier today, and I saw Sophie on one podcast, but apparently that podcast is behind a Patreon paywall or something for like the first week or two. So we can't watch that one yet. But in searching for that podcast, I found another Sophie interview. And this is not an old interview. This is from back in February 18th, 2026, to be exact. And it is called Abolish the Family, A Radical Vision and Love and Care. And Sophie is in that green room in her house. And so it might look like a classic Sophie episode, but it is actually a new Sophie episode. So it's new. We haven't seen this before. And Sophie has not given a presentation about abolishing the family in years. We haven't had a new Sophie presentation on this topic in years because Sophie has been shilling her last book, which is about how you are not a real feminist unless you are a communist. So I'm really excited about this. I love a good Sophie Lewis Abolish the Family talk. 1 in the chat if you have watched Sophie with me before. 2 in the chat if this is going to be your first time watching the Ginger Dragon, Sophie Lewis. 1 if you have watched Sophie with me before. 2 if we're taking your cherry today. 2 if we're taking your cherry. Are there any virgins in the house today? Wow. No Sophie virgins. Well, that's all right. Oh, we do have a couple. Okay, now, Bot, shut the fuck up. Bot, come on. Sophie Lewis is one of the most prominent people on the far left pushing the concept of abolish the family today. Sophie has written 2 books about abolishing the nuclear family. Sophie is a queer, non-binary Marxist who teaches at the University of Pennsylvania, also teaches at the Brooklyn Institute for Leftist something and other. I don't know, but she teaches classes all over the place, including in Ivy League schools. Sophie is one of our favorite people to watch because you'll understand this as we get into this. Sophie just has a way about her Sophie has a way of saying the quiet part out loud in the most lovely language that you can possibly imagine. And it's like Sophie just can't help herself. She just can't help herself but say the quiet part out loud over and over and over again. We have Sophie on video saying fuck parental rights, literally, because of course Sophie believes parental rights are a form of private property ownership. Just like slave owners owning slaves, she wants to abolish parental rights because they mean parents own their kids, and Sophie doesn't believe parents own their kids, so she said fuck parental rights. We have Sophie on video talking about getting rid of the private family kitchen in your home because in the future communist utopia, everyone will eat in the community canteen and all your food will be provided for you in the community canteen, and there will be no need to have a private kitchen. And sure, maybe you might want to cook for yourself, but why would you want to do that when you could just get all your food in the community canteen? We even have Sophie on video talking about how in the future communist utopia, children will not be born of mothers. Children will be cloned as sheep were in bio bags, and we will grow children in bio bags because remember, in the future communist utopia, there are no parental rights. All of the children belong to everyone. And so there's going to be no need to have children actually being birthed out of a human because now they know how to gestate sheep in a bio bag. And Sophie wanted to sneak into the hospital where they were doing this experiment so she could observe it because she thinks we can gestate human beings in the same way in bio bags and thus getting rid of those pesky parental rights. These are just a few of the Sophieisms that we have encountered over the years. And additionally, and I have to say, this is a point in Sophie's favor, Sophie is about this close to figuring out the JQ. She's like so close because Sophie, when she was doing her presentations for her book about how the only way to be a feminist is to be a communist, she did all these talks where she was going back and looking at Nazi Germany. And she said, in Nazi Germany, all of the propaganda said the communists were bankers, but it also said the communists were also, excuse me, like strike that. Hang on, got to do that again. I fucked it up. Hang on. Sophie said in Nazi Germany, they had propaganda that said all the Jews were bankers, but they also had propaganda saying all the Jews were communists. How could the Jews be both the bankers and the communists? She is so close to figuring out the JQ. She's like right there. I feel like if we just nudge Sophie a little bit and we remind her that they play both sides, and that's part of the thing, Sophie, they play both sides. If we just nudge her a little bit, she's going to get there. Who knows? Maybe Sophie could become the next great white hope. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, so today we are watching a new, latest, greatest, possibly classic Sophie Lewis episode where she is talking about abolishing the nuclear family. Let's read the description. In this episode, Elizabeth is joined by political theorist and author Sophie Lewis to explore one of the most provocative ideas, the abolition of the family. Reflecting on her own complicated adolescence, Sophie asks what it would mean to reorganize society around love and collective care rather than accumulation. When Sophie says accumulation, that means capitalism. Drawing on her book, Abolish the Family, Sophie argues that the nuclear family carries impossible burdens in a capitalist society, privatizing care, exhausting women, and quietly treating children as property. See, they believe that parental rights are a form of private property ownership. It basically says that in the description. Can we imagine a world where love, care, and kinship extend beyond the walls of the nuclear family? Together, they will talk about why utopia might be a practice, not a destination, the hidden labor inside the private household, surrogacy. Are we going to get another bio bag clip today? Could it happen? Could that dream come true? Reproduction and the myth of unassisted motherhood, whether autonomy and care are opposites or inseparable. Jesus's radical redefinition of the family and the overlap between Christianity and communism. Can someone summon Amalek, please? I'm going to text him right now. Can someone please summon Amalek for me? I didn't even know this had a Jesus segment. I had no idea this had a Jesus segment. So I think we're going to be looking forward to that. What Sophie really means by abolition. I mean, could this episode have anything more? Could this episode have any more for us? I just don't think so, guys. I just don't think so. I think that this episode is going to cover all of the Sophie Lewis basics that perhaps, especially if you're newer here, you may not have heard in a while. And old sub, I gotta say, old sub, you read my mind. You read my mind, old sub, and I just hit my microphone. You read my mind. Let's give a round of W's in the chat to old sub, starting us off strong with 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much, old sub. Guys, when I do a class day like we're doing now, where I actually teach you about socialism, this is called a class day. What that means is on all of my class days, I have a 100 channel membership goal. As thank you for me taking hours out of my day to teach you guys something. As a thank you for me sharing my expertise for free on the internet to allow me to continue to do this. I am 100% independently funded by you guys. I cannot do this unless you guys find this valuable and you guys want me to do this, okay? So I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to try something new. Focus it with a channel membership. W's to focus. Thank you so much. Now, guys, I know 100 channel memberships is a lofty goal, but it really, really does help out in, immeasurable ways in terms of like making sure I have just like, honestly, the basic necessities of fucking life and also the resources to be able to invest in things, to be able to build out my research library on the left, continue to do all this stuff for free because honestly, it takes me hours and hours and hours a day to do this stuff. And if I have to go do consulting or something, which I'm perfectly willing to do, I just have less time I can dedicate to this. And this, I think, is the most important thing. This is the thing that I think is adding the most value to the world. So let me ask you guys this. I'm going to try a little experiment today, and we're going to see how this goes. One in the chat, if you are excited to watch this episode with Sophie Lewis and have all the language broken down and get all your questions answered. 1 in the chat if you think that sounds like a good use of your time. 2 in the chat if you think this sounds dumb and you don't want to do it and you don't understand why we're doing it. 1 if you're looking forward to this episode. 2 if you're not. Thank you, Mike, for that. I will add that a membership for you. I appreciate it. So, guys, if you trust me, if you believe in me, if you think I'm going to teach, fuck you, Trendlin. If you think I'm going to teach a class today that no one else on the internet will teach you, if you think you're going to learn something new that you didn't know before coming to this stream, can we get to 25 channel memberships before I start the video? We're trying an experiment here. I want to see if this works. Can we get to 25 channel memberships before I start the video? W's Unmasked Red Death coming in with a gifted channel membership. Do we have enough people who want me to watch this presentation and you know you're going to learn something and you know Sophie's going to say the quiet part out loud because she always does and you know you're going to have a good time for the next couple hours and you want to see stuff like this continue? Do we have enough people that find value in this that we can get to 25 channel memberships before the start of the stream? Rumble, you guys can donate channel memberships too. We need 4 people to give 5 channel memberships. Consider it an admission fee. W's Accent coming in with 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much for that. We got Unmasked Red Death with another one. Thank you so much for that. Unmasked Red Death. We are up to 14. Let's see. Oh, Kazmar's in. Kazmar's in with 5 channel memberships. W's to you, Kazmar. Thank you so much for your support. That's up to 19, guys. Can we get 6 more? Can we get like a jump start so I don't have to beg for the rest of the stream? I will start the video when we get 6 more channel memberships. I wish we could direct them. I really do. It's all random from YouTube though. So hang around in the chat, and the more you hang around, the more likely you are to get a channel membership, I think. But it is all random. I really do wish we could direct them though. I really do wish. Unmasked Red Death, W's for the channel membership. Thanks so much. Guys, we need 5 more. 5 more. We got Chica Lago in with a membership. W's, good sir. Thank you so much. Can we get 4 more? We got it. Kristen in with the 5. Kristen, thank you so much for always being an amazing supporter. We appreciate you. W's to you, madam. Thank you for getting us over the finish line there. Look at that. That was super easy. That was super easy. I love that. I love that. All right, guys. We are digging in. We are getting started. Please make sure you mount the like button. If you can't afford to give channel memberships, it's totally cool. I do want to keep this free for as many people as possible. But if you are here and you can't afford to give, please like the video. Liking the video gets more people into the stream, and it gets YouTube to recommend my content, stuff like that. And so can we get those likes up a little bit before we get started? I'm just going to hold this. I'm just going to be I'm holding you guys hostage right now. I'm basically holding you guys hostage. Can we get those likes up? There's a shocking disparity between the number of people watching and the number of people who like the video. A little more. Come on. Come on. I'm holding everyone hostage now. I'm we're just going to do this my way now. You guys don't want to do it on your own? Fine. Fine. Can we get 7 more? Come on, guys. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. All right. If you have questions throughout the stream, please ask them in the chat. I will try to answer as many questions as possible. And let's get this party started.
All your books have quite punchy titles. Logical outflow of that first book was Abolish the Family. I get the impression that you really do mean that title in a much more literal sense. And if so, what do you mean by abolishing the family?
So abolish does mean do away with. It certainly does.
Do away with.
Abolish something. It's paradoxical. It's the opposite of what people think. You actually pay attention to what is valuable about the thing. What need is actually being met by this thing that could be and must be, should be so much better.
Hello and welcome to The Sacred, a podcast from the think tank Theos. My name is Elizabeth Oldfield, and this is not a place where you're going to hear the same perspectives episode after episode. I'm sorry to break it to you, you are not likely to be confirmed in all of your pre-existing opinions. We're trying to do something different here. We're trying to listen with curiosity and openness to a really wide range of perspectives, to challenge us, to stretch us, to liberate us from our filter bubbles, to widen our horizons, to make life more fun, I think, and also to help us be resisting the forces that are driving us apart. And I'm really delighted to be joined today by Sophie Lewis, who is a writer, an author, a theorist, and a teacher, joining us from Philadelphia. Thanks so much for being here, Sophie.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's great to be here.
I don't remember, Reagan. I don't remember watching one like this. I mean, I know that the green background is something that's in a lot of Sophie videos, but I think that this is new. I'm pretty sure this is new. I don't think we've watched this one. It's only 3 months old. How could we watch it?
A question which you can reject.
We're gonna watch it regardless.
You can take it whatever direction that you want, but it's trying to get to
never
your
heard
deep
Sophie talk about
principles
Jesus
and values, the things you're trying to live by. What came up for you?
Things like solidarity, moments that make me feel beyond myself, or tingly or connected with the sacred, tend to be moments of collective courage. Things that happen at big protests, big demonstrations, or, student walkouts or vigils for the slain. Those are the things that really evoke that. That was the first thing that came to mind for me. I had a moment like that. In Philadelphia, we were grieving, like everybody around the country, the murder of Renee Good by an ICE officer. And there was tremendous courage and singing thousands and thousands of people singing, "We will not be silent while our friends are gunned down. We will not be silent until all our friends are home," in a sort of round. And I was just bawling. And then, so those sorts of things to me, solidarity, courage to resist. Yeah.
I often weep in this podcast, but no, normally in the first 30 seconds. So
Yes, it's very moving. It's very touching, ladies.
Another way that I sometimes go at this question is when you've had real forks in the road, like real crunch point decisions in your life, what are the ones that you have either wanted to let guide you, or sometimes we fail to, but you've known in the moment that you've compromised something when you haven't? When you have a hard decision, what are you using as your compass?
Sophie.
That's an interesting one. I think,
I've never seen Sophie think like this.
I think I feel a
Must be
sort
a
of
good answer.
nausea when I sense that there's something craven or something that one might call selling out.
Did we literally watch this 2 months ago on Socialism Saturday? And I forgot. Oh no, it's a different talk. Isn't that different? Did we literally watch this and I just forgot? Holy shit. All right. Well, we're watching it again. We're watching it. Holy shit. Did I literally just black out this moment? Okay, Karlyn, maybe it's time to smoke a little less weed. Maybe it's time to take it down. Yeah, it's keto. It's keto amnesia. Yeah, that's it. Hey, we're watching it again. Shit. I just spilled nail polish remover on my keyboard. Holy shit. Well, thanks, Reagan. Thank you. Thank you for that. We're watching it again. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's going to be even better this time. Hopefully I'll remember it this time.
Going on, I think sometimes bad faith or cowardice,
professional
I
screamer, yeah.
suppose, on the flip side of what I said first. If I can detect those in me, I'll try and move away from those things. Thinking
At least
about
I didn't
what
spill the nail
one
polish,
is
true.
willing to sacrifice
True.
for, to lose things that are comfortable and nice.
Yeah.
I really don't remember this though. Like it's a complete
easy
black hole.
in theory, I think, to think that one would make the right decision in the face of fascism, for example, but in practice, I think a lot of people do want to keep their heads down. I think I've tended to try and if a decision feels difficult, which in a weird way, I'm not sure how many decisions have felt really difficult for me because I'm
What
very
the fuck
willful.
was I smoking that
And
night? I do not remember this at all.
Yeah. If I look
It's a
at,
good
if I
one.
look at my
Good.
life, I think I'm almost a bit startled sometimes by how much I just knew what I wanted to do at every point and
Wow.
just did it. But so the difficult decision would be more mundane stuff like, does my sweetheart want to really risk, overstaying her visa with me in the UK or something?
Yeah.
But that's a sort of maybe a bit more logistical and difficult simply because of risk assessment, but not necessarily a big principle. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, that was rambling.
No, it's great. And as I'm preparing for these interviews, I'm almost that like some people, I think, either through just choices or setting or life experience, actually haven't had that much time to reflect on their deep values. Like some people I ask and they're slightly stumped. And some people I'm like, you know what yours are, and you're one of those. I see.
Guess so. Yeah.
Master Shake was right. I'm not
I'd love
going
to
to
know a
admit it
little
to
bit
him either.
about your childhood. Could you give me a little, and you will do it beautifully because you're a beautiful writer, a kind of word picture of you, maybe age 7. Where were you? What were the
Is this
influences
real?
on you?
Wait,
what was
is
shaped?
this real? Has keto actually given me amnesia? Are you just making this up, or is this real? Have I actually... See, it's not the weed, it's the keto. I don't have to give up. I don't have to reduce the amount of weed I'm smoking at all. Lack of carbs reduces... If you're making this up, I'm going to be really mad. Lack of carbs reduces glycogen absorption in the bloodstream, affecting the brain's ability to remember. I have keto amnesia. Damn. You know, I've always been one of those people that I can remember anything. Like, I remember the most minute, weird details about weird things. I don't have a photographic memory, but, like, I have a really good memory. And even when I get, like, blackout drunk, I've never gotten so drunk that, like, I have not remembered what I've done. I may pretend not to remember because there might be reasons to pretend not to remember. But, like, I remember every single thing I do when I'm drunk. And the fact that I might have given myself amnesia by doing keto, and there might just be entire segments of the last 6 months that I just black out, don't remember. That's a thought that's going to fester because I genuinely do not remember this at all. And usually I'm like a fucking Rolodex of socialism. Usually you can ask me anything about any socialist thing and I'm like, oh yeah, we saw it in this presentation in this year and it was these people presented. Like, I know all the shit. I'm gonna be worrying about this, okay?
Thank you.
My brother and I, he's a year and a half younger than me, were incredibly close, really, really close. We had shared languages, secret languages that some of them were odd mixtures of French,
Private
German, and
property
English
ownership,
that
Bob,
we'd
fuck you.
turned homophones around in. I mean, that sounds incredibly nerdy. I think we did have quite an instinctive sort of trilingual because of where we were. We were in France with a German mother and a British
gotta
father.
take vitamin
And
C.
so these 3 languages
Okay.
were just there right from the
I'm gonna go
beginning.
get a
And we thought
supplement
there were all
tomorrow.
kinds of funny things
I'm gonna
about
start eating
them
more
that you could
oranges.
easily play with. And so we would secretly communicate under the, noses of adults with this private secret language. So we're in France. I went to school in lots of different contexts, sometimes in English, mostly in French, and even very briefly in German at the very beginning in kindergarten. I think my brother and I are pretty unsupervised in some ways, and there's a lot of kind of running around, and there's a lot of make-believe and theatre sort of inflicted on random passers-by. And I think I'm very fond of this. I think it was a novel turned into a movie called, so I would pronounce it Momo in the German way, but Momo. I don't know if this possibly came through on your, I imagine not. There's a very niche cult interest in this. It was by Michael Ende in German, the novel. And it's about this small child who comes to a town and is homeless, is wild in some way. And she makes friends with all the people in the town and she saves them from the invasion that shortly after starts occurring by the grey men, who are here with their briefcases to convince everybody that they are wasting their time. And so start stealing the time of the people in the town. And it's absolutely chilling and terrifying. The grey men are terrifying. And they do this by seducing individuals into thinking about how unproductive they're being and how much of a waste of time it is to pick a flower for their daughter, on the way to work and things like that. And so Momo is the sort of anti-capitalist principal in the town who's helping everyone imagine how to resist. But at first she loses. And this kind of time thief cabal just kind of closes in. And I remember being terrified by the grey men and hoping that I could be like Momo.
Wow. Do you think there were seeds of your political awakening in there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think I was pretty tuned into what I thought was unfair and wrong. And that, that sort of thing. I mean, I think there's plenty of politics in children's discourses and speech if you listen. There's plenty of sort of and I mean, it's not to say all children are a social justice sort of always. There are certainly children with different political opinions too, but I think there's something about children's access potentially to utopianism that is worth taking seriously by everybody.
I want to come back to that word because it features a lot, utopias. But first, I'd love you to tell me about your mum, Ingrid. You called her Mum Puts. And I know that in particular, maybe if it is not too complex today, your experience with her in your teenage years.
Yeah, it was really bad. She was, I think, a pretty unique and admirable person in many ways. She ran away kind of from her somewhat Nazi supporting, not fully Nazi German family.
I remember this.
To go to university, which they didn't think girls should do. She had a big political awakening at Göttingen University.
Sophie's mom was a feminist,
she,
also Jewish.
Had a lot of adventures in her life. She married some comrade of hers and divorced him, and married the same guy again and divorced him again, and then thought that she should be she really liked England, which I don't share this.
I remember the Nazi part. Yeah, I do. I remember the Nazi part. Yeah.
It's January and rainy as we're recording. I feel the same.
Everything about England she loved, and she wanted to be English. And she basically did the rather wonderful thing of teaching herself English to the point where she was, when the BBC German service existed, she was working at it and doing documentaries on Jewish refugees. So she was, and then very late in life, she met my dad and decided to have kids. And I think she became pretty depressed shortly after this. And they moved in connection with so they were both journalists and reporters. And eventually we landed up where we did in France. And I think she just thought that, maybe not entirely consciously,
Sophie had
but
a
the
bohemian
basic
mom.
sort of deal of parenthood in this dyadic model with two parents in a private household just doesn't work. It just doesn't. It
private household
cannot work. And
okay,
she's.
I want to explain this for people who don't understand why Sophie just used the language, the private household, because it is actually very specific. When Sophie is saying the private household, what she means is the private unit that accumulates individually owned private property. What that means is the family has access to the property, the resources, the house, the land, the money. The collective does not. The private unit owns the property and can exclude other people from using the property, whereas in the commune, everything belongs to everyone and is under the collective caretakership of everyone. The reason that, there are many reasons Sophie wants to abolish the family, but for the purposes here, I want people to understand that private property ownership is the definition of capitalism. The nuclear family is how people have access to private property. Some people are born into rich families. Some people are born into poor families. That means people have access to different sets of resources. The people with more resources, more property, are the oppressors, the capitalists. The people with less resources, less property, are the proletarian, and they are oppressed by the capitalists because they don't have as much access to resources. One of the reasons they want to abolish the family is to give all the resources to everyone. No more private home, no more land ownership, no more private businesses within the family, no more generational wealth passed down from parent to child, thus keeping it out of the control of the collective, no more parental rights over your children. Sophie's going to talk about that later. That's what they mean. No, 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 no. We are a smart person channel. We are not a low IQ retard channel. Bullshit. They're lazy and crazy. Sophie works for 2 different schools teaching this material, and one of them is an Ivy League school. So when Sophie has 2 different teaching jobs and is also churning out at least 1 or 2 books a year, that's not actually lazy. Have you ever tried to write a book, you low IQ retard? Have you ever taught classes at a Ivy League level? That's not lazy, and that's not crazy. So no more retard comments from you. The next, oh, who cares? Who cares? Okay. Permanent ban from the stream. You don't care. Why would I have you in my chat influencing other people when you don't care? Get the fuck out of here and go back to your low IQ retard streams.
Of parenthood in this dyadic model with 2 parents.
No.
Private.
This is also another retard comment. Conservatives, can we just get all the retard comments out of the way right now? Do you guys have any more retard comments? Excuse me. They want to abolish the family because they are diddlers. That's possibly actually even stupider than the last retard comment that was made, bro. Do you know how I know that? A central premise of Sophie's book, the first one, is that most sexual abuse takes place in the nuclear family, and thus forcing children to be in the nuclear family actually makes them more likely to be sexually abused and not less likely to be sexually abused. And that's in her first book. So that's your warning. No more low IQ retard shit from you. In fact, you should probably just shut the fuck up and listen for the rest of the stream, unless you have a question, and then we will answer your question. But no more statements from you. You're not smart enough to contribute anything of value at the moment.
The household just doesn't work. It just doesn't. It cannot work. And she sort of preferred annihilating herself, I think, in given the situation. She tried really hard. She had a lot of anger, and she tried to figure out something. I mean, I'm giving this context. I mean, I felt so much, rage and probably also loathing.
Old sub! Old sub it with 5 gifted channel memberships. W's to you, good sir. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted channel memberships. Welcome to the 5 new members. That gets us up to 31 memberships for the day. Really, really appreciate it.
I think it was mutual. There was a real clash. There was a clash between her and me. There was a clash between my dad and me. It was miserable. It was a really miserable adolescence completely. And there was alcoholism and suicidality in her on her side of things, and so my survival was very much to do with searching for other figures to be connected to, and then I also basically left, sort of ran away, like many queer people do in their childhoods and adolescences. But I suppose the unusual thing, I suppose, is that I was still part of my survival DNA was like overachievement as well. I had to really be the absolute best.
It's a brand new account.
In order to make it out
Okay,
of there.
well, let's see if there's any more retardation from him.
So I, I got into Oxford while being a sort of queer runaway. And wasn't surprised by that. I just had to get the hell out of there. And I think getting into the most prestigious place was the way to do that, because at the time I felt very, keyed into love being proportionate to achievement.
Thank you for sharing that. And when you write about this in the essays, as you've just done again, your extraordinary ability to name the harm and name the context with such grace for her. And yeah, I just wanted to say it's a remarkable thing to hear and a remarkable thing to read about, and presumably was the fruit of some long, presumably didn't at Oxford have that level of compassion.
No. Well, strangely, it's the way you've asked me about this teases out the sort of the one side of it. And, the role of my dad in it and his refusal to stand up for either of us in any way, and actually delight in pitting us against each other, became much more clearly the thing I had to distance myself from. So by the time I got to university, I think I had actually begun to want a relationship with my mum. So I did have one. It almost began anew in my 20s. We'd been pretty distant from one another in my adolescence, and we did find a way to know each other and be kind and funny and appreciative of each other before she died in 2018.
Oh, Sophie.
I'd love to know, because you studied did you do English for your undergrad and your PhD, or just your undergrad?
Oh gosh, another thing about me is I just wanted to do it all. I studied English for undergrad, and then I was so inflamed about climate catastrophe that I thought that I couldn't do English anymore responsibly because I needed to be equipped with the knowledge to be part of
Sophie studied eco-justice.
saving the climate, saving the world from fossil capitalism. So I did an MSc, Masters of Science in environmental policy at that point.
Wow.
And then
Sophie
I
did an
switched again
eco-justice
to
degree. I didn't know
political
that.
science on my Fulbright scholarship, or politics.
More
It was just called
amnesia.
politics, a master's in politics. And then I switched to human geography, which is actually a bit that for my PhD, which doesn't make much sense to people.
Yeah, I think Bot, thank you so much for this black pill moment. We are fucked if conservatives win, and we are fucked if socialists win. True. That is why we are putting all of our chips on Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, and then we are praying.
Unless you happen to know a bit about geography as a discipline, because geography as a discipline has some physical geographers in it doing things with statistics.
Yeah,
but it
rocks.
also has a lot of people in it who are theorizing about the nature of the human body, or the interrelation between physical, social, and earthly metabolisms, or city movements, modes of production. You can basically put a lot of ragtag assorted socialists, Marxists, anarchists, feminists in geography.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And when did you first... Okay, do you prefer leftist, Marxist? Like, all of the labels fall apart and they all need footnotes and nuancing, but for shorthand, whatever you want to call that, when did you first start calling yourself it? Whatever language you prefer.
Definitely, I think I became radicalized at university. There was the sort of, as I was at the end of my time at Oxford, there was in 2011 the riots, and then also the student uprising. I think labels are really tricky, as you kind of imply. I was in sort of horizontally organized climate movements. I've never been in a sort of hierarchically organized anti-capitalist organization.
I've never been in a hierarchically organized anti-capitalist organization. The far left is not hierarchical. There is no head of the snake. There is no leader. There is no leadership. There are only people who have different roles. The right, when they are thinking about things, think about things in a hierarchical way. Who is the president? Who is the vice president? Who is in charge? The left doesn't think about it like that. They think about it in a horizontally organized way in which they are decentralized. What that means is anyone can do anything. Literally, there's no one telling you what to do, but you should be doing something that contribute to the overall efforts of the collective. And you can work with each other and you can help each other and you can give feedback to each other and you can get feedback from your comrades and stuff like that. You can share information. They do this all the time. But there is no one person or group of people on the left saying, here is what you will do and here is your money to do it. That's retarded. They are horizontally organized. They are non-hierarchical. Do people understand this? 1 in the chat if you understand what I just said. 2 in the chat if you're confused. If you are confused, I need you to ask a question or tell me what you're confused about. It's okay to be confused, but you need to explain what you're confused about so that we can help you not be confused. What this means, guys, is that Donald Trump has always been lying when he says he's just going to cut the funding. That doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist. There is no funding he can cut because they are funded by mutual aid. They are not funded by Soros. They are not funded by the fucking CCP. All of that is conservative bullshit propaganda. It is not real. And by the way, even if it was real, then why hasn't Trump done it? If all that, let's just say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about and all this stuff is totally real and Karlyn is just a secret leftist, Antifa operating, me, all this stupid shit conservatives say about me. If it is real, then why hasn't the Trump administration done anything about it in the last year when they've been going, we know where the funding is coming from and we're going to RICO their asses and blah, 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 blah. They haven't done shit. For all of the viral tweets that have gone around Twitter, we know that they're funded by the CCP and blah, 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 blah. Then why haven't you done anything about it if you're oh so sure that that's the problem? Do I see an immense level of emotional fragility in leaders amongst the far left? Oh, no. No. Oh, I'm very sorry, bro. You just got permanently banned. I'm very sorry. Go away. Goodbye. No, the emotional fragility is on the right. The emotional fragility is not on the left. The emotional fragility is on the right.
I think my instincts are a bit more sort of, I think what some people in Europe call libertarian communist in that way.
So no such thing as a libertarian communist. That's not real.
The thing that has always made me, go, yes, they're talking about the sacred, is this this principle that is very ancient in the UK that, omnia sunt communia, or everything is everyone's.
Everything
And that's
is everyone's.
the thing about the commons and the commune form. Communism is the sort of real movement that abolishes the present state of things because it is turning things inside out and, in a sense, restoring the sense in which we belong to one another. Everyone is everyone's and everything is everyone's. I think, whatever that is, communardism is my position. It's all ours. It's all it must be. It is.
No, I didn't say that. So that any level of hierarchy is a social construct? Well, I mean, human beings create the hierarchy or the lack of hierarchy. So human beings can choose to behave in a hierarchical fashion as conservatives do, or human beings can choose to engage in a horizontal, decentralized way, which is what they do. It's not a social construct. Conservatives engage in hierarchy. Hierarchy is their values because fundamentally conservatives like to be told what to do. Leftists have a completely different set of values and behave in a completely different way. So they're both social constructs. Whatever the group, however the group wants to organize, is how the group is going to organize.
I don't know if this is a stupid question or not, but what is your utopia? Like, what is the dream that you are all again and again gesturing towards in your theory? Like, what do you Thomas More distilled into a couple of paragraphs?
Sorry to do this, but Thomas More's utopianism is only one kind. You know, he does
Yeah,
have,
great. Tell me more.
he does have an island where everything is great. And that is a lot of what we think of as utopia, like a destination. But as old as Thomas More, and part of the conversation he's already part of, although it's not usually told that way, is that the no place and the good
We're not
place
talking about
are
animals
in a
being
kind of
ding-ding, we're talking
relationship
about
with one
human
another.
beings.
You don't, in fact, many people have been saying for centuries that you destroy utopia as soon as you think that it's a design that you can get to. It has to be the road itself. It has to be the method, in almost, you could even say, of approaching the given. So utopia is the sort of almost ineffable knowledge that things don't have to be this way. And the collective sort of insurgency against the way things currently are, that is guided by the I suppose faith, you know, that there is a different way, a different world. But again, you know, designing it with the minds that we have now would almost be by definition sort of abortive or insufficient. We can get glimpses of it is all. And I know this sounds quite wishy-washy, but I'm pretty sure that it's sufficient. It sometimes feels sufficient. You know that it is when you try. It's not a matter of, you know, feeling sufficient at the desk, you know, like, oh, utopianism is a sort of decolonial method of insurgency against the given. Like, okay, that's a lot of very abstract language, but when movements on the streets say, you know, another world is possible, I think that's the basic kernel of what utopia says. You know, we it's not about saying we want to get to a place we know exactly, you know, the logic of it. It's saying the logic is us, is what we're doing right now. And we're glimpsing it in what we're doing right now, and whatever, you know, the sort of noun utopia rather than verb utopia might be, is whatever grows and extrapolates from our collective utopian action. I mean,
honestly, it doesn't sound strange at
Okay,
all.
good.
Sorry to interrupt, because it's almost exactly the way. So I'm a Christian. In my tradition, it's almost exactly the way we talk about the kingdom of God, which I guess is the equivalent, right? That it is not some far off hermetically sealed place.
What?
It is amongst us, right? It is. There are seeds.
The socialist utopia is like the kingdom of God.
Of the kingdom, there are whispers,
Yes.
there are acts, there are moments which are Christological, which have something of the logic of the kingdom at work in them, and we can choose to collaborate with and cooperate with and align ourselves with the work of the Spirit towards the kingdom of God. And that's like, it's beautiful. It's our calling, and it's not. It really helps lower the frustration levels.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Yep, that's right. Kingdom of God
and
is socialist
it sounds
utopia.
strange to say colleague when you're a writer, because I don't know. But M.E. O'Brien has written this book called Family, Abolition, Capitalism, and the Communizing of Care, which ends with an extended meditation on the concept of the beloved community.
No, they don't, Mr. J.
And
That's not real.
I wonder if it's quite resonant with what you're saying there. The it's a partly religious concept, a Christian concept, I think, that sort of speaks to the way that humans could be related to one another in a world freed from private property ways of construing one another. I mean, I do think
Heaven is a world free of private property. Capitalism means private property ownership. Private property means bourgeois property, property that you can use to create personal privatized wealth, your ability to own a home, land, apartment rental that you rent out as a landlord, intellectual property, private business, whether that private business is big or small, and parental rights over your kids. That is what that means. Sophie's idea of heaven is a world without private property where all the resources and all the children belong to everyone.
humans could be related to one another in a world freed from private property ways of construing one another. I mean, I do think, yeah, I see the resonances you're implying very clearly. There's a wonderful sort of idea called red love in the sort of
Red love.
dissident left of the Bolshevik tradition. Alexandra Kollontai is one example. She was pretty much chastised by Lenin for being too utopian, actually. She insisted that the property form is really infecting the way that, even possibly you or I, but certainly, people who are intimately bound together in love are kind of construing one another under capitalism. And there's something better. There's a sort of red way of loving one another in which we're not, we're not contaminated by the property form, and we don't understand love as a question of, having one another. And so for her, a really important part of revolutionary transformation was this kind of, maybe, from below, kernel-wise, glimpse-wise sort of unfurling of the logic of red love, which would be the way to unleash.
Does everyone understand what Sophie means by red love? Pop quiz for the chat. What does Sophie mean by red love? Does everyone understand what Sophie means? Can you guys explain to me what Sophie means when she says red love? Okay, guys, please make sure when you don't understand something, please ask a question so that I know that you don't understand. What does commie comradeship mean? I said that doesn't mean anything. I wouldn't say there's no. This is a conservative retard answer. No. That is a conservative retard answer because what you want, what you're truly saying is they're all pedophiles. No, that's not the right answer. No. Community care as comrades to one another without private property ownership to restrict love between people. But why does it restrict love between people? No, it doesn't mean free love. It's not. These are not fucking hippies, guys. No, that's a component of it, but that's not what it means. I think you fucking heard me. I'm pretty sure you heard me. Okay. We have 0 complete answers in the chat. So this is an instance where, as we're doing this stuff, guys, if you don't understand a term, please make sure you're asking the question, because based on the chat, I see that pretty much no one is able to explain what this term means. Under capitalism, you only have access to the resources of your family. It kind of seems like you're the one that's trying to pick a fight when I'm actually trying to teach a concept right now. So settle the fuck down and do not argue with people in the chat, especially mods. Here is what Sophie believes, and here is what red love means. Under capitalism, the nuclear family, because it is a propertied institution, you only have access to the resources of your nuclear family. You have access to the money in your family. You have access to the housing. You have access to healthcare. You have access to land. You have access to whatever resources your family has. Everyone has different levels of access to resources because everyone's private families have different amounts of accumulated private property. Some people have more, some people have less. Socialists and communists believe it is intrinsically unfair that people are limited to the property of their immediate relations. And of course, if you get married, that also transfers into that. They believe marriage is a form of propertied relationship as well. In order to give people access to all of the resources, you're going to abolish things like the nuclear family and abolish things like private property ownership to create a communal world of red love where your love for other people in society is not restricted based on who happens to be in your private family, your propertied family, or your marriage or whatever. Everyone has access to all of the resources, and this fundamentally changes the way people socially relate to one another because everyone is responsible for loving everyone else. Everyone is a comrade to everyone else. Everyone cares for everyone else. Sophie will call these Sophie calls this a form of surrogacy. Surrogacy, when Sophie's talking about it, does not just mean people having babies. It means we are all surrogates for each other. We all are supposed to care for each other. This is part of Sophie's basis for wanting to abolish the family, is that everyone will receive a greater level of care once the family is abolished, because we will have a society built on like more of a concept of red love, comradely love, in which you are not restricted in the people that you give your love to. One in the chat, if you understand what I just said, it doesn't matter if you think it's realistic. Whether or not you think it's realistic is immaterial to the conversation. This is about what they believe. This is not about what you believe. So if you think it won't work, I don't really care. Like, no offense. I don't think most of this shit is going to work. One in the chat if you understand what I just said. Two in the chat if you're confused. If you are confused, please ask a question. Okay. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to assume that everyone understands.
And love as a question of, having one another. And so for her, a really important part of revolutionary transformation was this kind of, maybe, from below, kernel-wise, glimpse-wise, sort of unfurling of the logic of red love, which would be the way to unleash on the stage of history real
Can I repeat all that? No, you can rewind and listen
worthy
again.
of the name for the first time.
Yeah. You use this definition.
If you want me to repeat everything that I just said, rewind the video and listen again. If you have a specific question, then you can ask that. But if you're just asking me to say everything I just said, then I need you to rewind. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm telling you that I'm not going to repeat everything I just said. Just rewind the video and listen again. And if you have a question, ask a question.
And it's going round and round in my head. And I can't quote you word for word, but it's something like love is wanting maximal autonomy and maximal care for people, or maximal autonomy and to be just something beautiful. Like
love is wanting maximum autonomy and maximum levels of care for everyone.
meaningful love worthy of the name for the first time.
Yeah. You use this definition that's going round and round in my head. And I can't quote you word for word, but it's something like love is wanting maximal autonomy and maximal care for people, or maximal autonomy and to be just something beautiful, like surrounded by care or captured by care or something. But it's really stuck with me because I think I have an intuitive sense that those things pull us in two opposite directions. And I wondered if you thought that too.
Yeah, loads of people talk about that definition I give. I want to hazard a definition of love, and it's about struggling for someone's immersion in care and their autonomy at the same time. But I think you're right. People construe these things as quite opposite directions. You know, freedom also, in a certain philosophical tradition, has been just reduced to a version of itself that is individualist. But
Freedom
the sort of
is
abolitionist
individualist. That's funny.
intellectual tradition that I cherish has pretty much always insisted on the two things can't be defined apart from one another: freedom and autonomy, or cared forness, connectedness, belonging, heldness, communitedness, is how you get autonomy, is how you get freedom. So abolitionists tend to view, that I guess I'm struggling not to say the word dialectic, but that's how I think they're bound together. Like they're sort of.
Thanks for trying.
Sorry,
it's all good.
But they're it, in order to be free, we have to be massively supported and potentiated and held. That's the idea in that tradition. There is no, it's a total fantasy that you could somehow be free without others. We are what
Sophie's saying, that in order to experience true liberation, we need to be surrounded by people who love and care for us. And right now, the social relations are such that people tend to restrict their love and care to people within their privatized family unit. But when we abolish the family, we will change the way human beings relate to each other. There will be no difference between relating to someone based on biology and relating to someone based on other forms of kinship or whatever. And so once we change the way, this is what she believes, I'm not saying what I believe, I'm saying what she believes. She believes that once we change the way human beings relate to one another, then people will get access to more care and more support and more love, because no longer having property means everyone's material resources or material needs are taken care of. Because everyone has housing, everyone has food, everyone has all the medical care they need, everyone has money doesn't exist, so that's another thing, but everyone has access to the resources they need, and everyone has access to an infinite amount of love and support and care. No, that's not what it would resemble at all.
One another's freedom is the idea. I guess I'm also offering to. I keep sort of saying, oh, other people have said this, but I guess I'm saying this. The way I also put this in my first book, which was about pregnancy, was that.
Hang on. So to broaden emotional attachment beyond the isolated nuclear family, shifting devotion from a single partner to the comrades. Yeah, more or less. That's not exactly how I would explain it, but more or less. That's true. More or less.
There's no such thing as unassisted reproduction. I was looking at this whole field and talking in it and being on panels and in conferences about quote unquote assisted reproduction, which is, about technologies.
Hey, Nanis over on Rumble says, excuse me, history has proven it to be a failure. Hey, Nanis, Here's what I want you to do, bro. I want you to find a radical revolutionary communist meeting near you. You can go ahead and Google and find a bookstore near you, because there will be a bookstore near you. Socialists have bookstores all over the country. And when you find a bookstore near you that is holding a far left meeting or organizing meeting or call or something like that, or even just a book club, I want you to go to that meeting and I want you to go, "Excuse me, communists, do you know history has proven that you will be a failure?" And you go ahead and you see how many minds you change, okay? You go ahead and see if that's an effective tactic. I know that you think you've just solved communism by debunking them in an online chat, but in fact, they're going to keep doing all the shit they're already doing. Nothing is going to change. They do not believe real communism has ever been tried. You would get chased out of the meeting and possibly get the shit kicked out of you. So you have to decide whether or not you want to do that. But your debunking has no place here. Reagan says the social relationship between comrades will not be private property driven. The comrades care for everyone in the community. It's the communization of care. That is a better way to explain it, Reagan. Thank you.
To overcome infertility and third-party carriers and so on. But the thing that a radical midwife said to me one day really stuck with me, which is like, whose reproduction is not assisted, right? Everybody's only here because of others. I mean, and I think more radically than that, you know, we're not, we are nothing outside of what we've been made together, produced, co-produced through the holding, the knowing, the caring of others. So I mean, I think for me, it's true that there are, obviously the words are separable, and that's why they're in, you know, there is a productive tension between care and autonomy. But and of course you can also talk about the ways that care has a certain coerciveness.
You're obligated to care for your family.
But I think in order to really get at the profound heart of each thing, care and autonomy, you can't separate them. You have to put them together.
I love that. I love the phrase, "we are each other's freedom." A phrase I use all the time in my work is, "we are each other's safety."
Mm-hmm.
No such thing as individual safety. We are each other's safety. And so that no such thing as individual freedom is a new branching thought that I will take away.
No such thing as individual safety. No such thing as individual freedom. These people do not believe in individualism. Eric, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but can you please focus on the presentation? There is no such thing as individualism in the communist utopia. They are not individualists. They are collectivists. There is no such thing as individual safety. There is no such thing as individual freedom.
I wanted to ask about that. You know, the real thread in your work has been gestation, care, mothering, like the communization of care, and that first book, I think, Emerging from Your Thesis, was called. All your books have quite punchy titles, and this one was Full Surrogacy Now, which I'd love you to just explain what you mean by that, because I don't think you mean Handmaid's Tale.
No, it's true.
She doesn't.
In a weird way, it's a book about commercial gestational surrogacy that also isn't about commercial gestational surrogacy. It's about pregnancy. I'm most of what I say about commercial gestational surrogacy is that it's a terrible industry, right? Like everybody, in a sense, who writes on it, I think, well, anyone sensible knows this. It's there are just endless opinions and columns and papers on the injustices and the exploitation and the but there's something about it that I really needed to reframe, I think, for people, which is important to me, because this happens again and again in the history of radical feminist thought. When a new frontier of commodification opens up, there's a sort of danger that feminists look at it and go, "Oh my God, that's really evil," forgetting what they were saying about the present state of things, the normal so-called way that things were going before. So, the people that I think were thinking most carefully about the family form in the 1960s and 70s were saying, this is a workplace, the unwaged home, which is not to say, destroy it.
Yeah.
It's to say, let's really think about what would need to change were we to move away from a capitalist mode of production and reproduction, because this site, this abode of the unwaged.
Surrogacy is Sophie's answer to parental rights. What would it look like if we were to move away from a commodity form of production and reproduction? Sophie is literally saying reproduction here, but she also has another definition of surrogacy, which is everyone is a surrogate for everyone else. And that's part of why we should be birthing babies via surrogacy, because then there is no biological kinship, and then everyone is a surrogate for everyone else. Does everyone understand? 1 in the chat if you understand what I just said, 2 in the chat if you're confused.
Place, the unwaged home, which is not to say, destroy it.
Yeah.
It's to say, let's really think about what would need to change were we to move away from a capitalist mode of production and reproduction, because this site, this abode of the unwaged kitchen, the unwaged hearth,
Unwaged kitchen.
where all this
The
caring labor is
unwaged
happening, is
kitchen.
part of the whole. It's part of the capitalist economy. And so let's make sure we're politicizing that and thinking about how it might be otherwise. Then when you suddenly get an industry in which people's uteruses are working for a wage, the danger is that
She's not. I remember this now because I had to explicitly explain this the last time we watched this. Now the memories are flooding back. I want to be very, very clear. Eric, I need you to ask a question. And Eric, so you need to ask a question then. And I'm going to tell you this too. If you weren't spouting nonsense in the chat and you were doing more listening, you probably wouldn't be as confused. So I need you to explicitly tell me what you do not understand in the form of a question so that I can answer it. Does narcissism drive this ideology? No. Does she want to just have sex with whoever she wants? No. That is not it. This is what we call a conservative bullshit narrative. That is not what is driving this at all in any way. And you should stop listening to the people who told you that because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sophie is not in favor of surrogacy under capitalism. When I say surrogacy in this case, I'm talking about paying people to have children to take those children and raise them, okay? Sophie is not in favor of women getting paid a wage to have children for rich people. That is capitalism. That is oppressive. She is not in favor of that. Under communism, people wouldn't be getting paid a wage. They would be doing it for other reasons, or they would find a way to gestate children outside the womb. This is actually something that they're trying to figure out how to do. And so the surrogacy would happen in a different way, and it wouldn't be part of a waged system. So it wouldn't be the surrogacy that Sophie wants under communism is fundamentally different than the surrogacy under capitalism, because under capitalism, it's a job. Sophie is not in favor of that. She's only in favor of doing it under communism to change the form of human relations so that they are outside of biological kinship. Does everyone understand this? Because it might be confusing for people to hear Sophie shit talk surrogacy, but she's shit talking surrogacy under capitalism, not under communism. These are two different things. If you do not understand what I'm saying, you need to ask a question. So if you're putting 2 in the chat, or you're saying, I just don't get it, okay, what don't you get? I'm not trying to be mean to you, but you're being extremely vague, and I don't know what you don't understand, so I can't explain it to you.
Go, oh, that's the ultimate problem, and we should keep the thing that we were criticizing a second ago and defend it against the new frontier.
Do you think that's a move that some other feminists are making?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely, right? You know, loads and loads and loads of people call themselves radical feminists when what I would call them is a sort of cultural feminism that actually basically becomes extremely conservative, defending what was there before the evil intrusion of technological
What
capitalism,
motivates
innovation
her?
of
She wants to overthrow capitalism. She wants to abolish all private property ownership. She thinks that life will fundamentally be better for everyone if we abolish all private property ownership. Private property ownership is their definition of capitalism. That's what motivates her. She is a queer communist. She wants to overthrow capitalism. She believes capitalism creates all oppression. Capitalism creates all suffering. Capitalism creates all crime. Capitalism creates all environmental change. Capitalism creates every problem in the world. And if we abolish capitalism, then everything will be great. That is what motivates her. What does she ultimately expect to get out of her life? She wants a socialist utopia. That's what she wants. She's a communist. She's a queer communist. Oh my God. What communism? That's not even a proper sentence, dude. Where? The United States. Who has ever raised baby under these ideas? It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You try going, Eric, you do me a favor. Eric, go find Sophie on social media. She's on Twitter, she's on Instagram, she's on Blue Sky. You can find her on any of those platforms, and you go to her and you say, "Excuse me, Sophie, do you know your ideas have never worked before?" And you see if Sophie changes her mind based on your brilliant argument of this has never worked before. You go give that a try, bro. Go give it a try. See how that goes.
For the last 40 years. To be clear, just to repeat, I'm very much not sort of like, oh, great, womb farms in not at all. What I think is really important though is that we don't make the move of disconnecting this from what we ourselves are part of. Our struggles are literally connected. This is a line that activists like to say, but it's extremely important to think about and believe and understand what someone is doing, when they are doing gestation, doing pregnancy. It is not actually different in and of itself when they're doing it in a home in London or a clinical dormitory in Gujarat. The baby will end up, being kept or being given to someone else. And there will be a wage for one of them and none for the other, perhaps a social wage, child child benefits and so on. But the thing that's really important to understand is that babies don't actually, belong as property to the people who gestate them.
Babies don't belong as property to the people who gestate them. This is the basis for every single attack on parental rights that you see in every school district in America. Every time school districts, public K through 12 schools are trying to restrict information that parents have access to about their kids, this is why they are doing it. This is the ideology that is driving it. When I say people like Sophie, queer communists, want to abolish the family, that is because they believe the family is the reproduction mechanism of capitalism. Capitalism is defined as private property ownership. One of the things they mean when they say private property ownership is parental rights over your kids. If you do not understand this, you do not understand the left. If you think that this is just about seizing the means of production and running the factories, your view of socialism and then communism in the United States is completely outdated. When they say capitalism, they not only mean an economic model, they also mean a cultural model, and the family is at the heart of the cultural model. These people believe that parental rights are a form of property ownership and therefore must be abolished under communism, and she just said it. We don't believe that they are the private property of the people who birthed them. Again?
A wage for one of them and none for the other, perhaps a social wage, child child benefits and so on. But the thing that's really important to understand is that babies don't actually belong as property to the people who gestate them. The beautiful sort of sacred thing about new human beings is that they really are as much strangers as they are sort of the entangled creatures of our flesh. They are, in terms of our body's logic too, there's nothing at all about the genetics of a fetus that makes it easier to gestate if it's got your DNA involved than I think it's kind of important not to fall into this fantasy that there is something profound about surrogacy that is really different from what it is to make human beings in the natural, normal way. It's just...
All right. We got old sub in with a gifted channel membership. W's to you, old sub. Guys, we're about halfway through this video. Can we get halfway to our channel membership goal? Can we get halfway to our channel membership goal? We've got 18 more memberships to hit our halfway point of our membership goal, and I will take a couple questions. And hopefully, in the taking of a couple questions, I will we will get some more memberships and we will get halfway to our goal. I understand that she doesn't think parents should have control over what children learn. Well, that's not what's being said. That's not what I'm saying. So I'm not sure where you're getting that. But it is interesting and seems hypocritical. It's not hypocritical. That somehow she thinks she has that authority. Well, bro, Sophie is a college professor that's teaching your kids currently. And Sophie is not the only person in the world that believes this. Probably every single teacher that you have your kids go to in K through 12 public schools, they also believe the same thing as Sophie. The people running the teachers unions believe the same thing as Sophie. This is in no way, shape, or form hypocritical. I don't think you know what that word means. And I don't think you're grasping the fact that this is about the abolition of capitalism. Parental rights are a form of capitalism. So I'm going to tell you one more time, you in particular need to be asking questions, not making statements, because when you make a statement, you say something that sounds fucking retarded. Okay? Ask questions. Karlyn is right. Sophie says the quiet part out loud. Yep. Oh, yeah, she does. Oh, yeah, she does. Deets! W! Eric, no more debunking. If I see, in fact, Eric, you're getting put in a timeout. No, like we need to stop the retardation from you. We got Red Menace Nick in with a membership. We got Deets and Nick. Yeah, I just did time him out for debunking. I just did. Guys, can we get 16 more channel memberships to get halfway to our channel membership goal? If I've taught you anything in this class today, if you appreciate the time that I'm taking the time to break this shit down, I'm going to make a clip of me just explaining the parental rights thing. I'm going to put it out on the internet tomorrow. We're going to get a ton of views on that. If you appreciate me educating the public about this ideology, please feel free to donate some channel memberships. We're halfway through the presentation. I would love to hit the halfway point of our goal. That would be rad. Can we do that? Does anyone want me to keep going? Yeah, we're having a retardation. Well, it's like people have a reaction when they first start learning this ideology, and their reaction usually leads to them acting like a retard. No one else wants me to keep going? ANS, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will put that towards a membership. Guys, we need 15 more. Can we get 3 people to give 5 channel memberships? To keep the stream going? Can we hit that goal? Yo, we got Mitchell in with a channel membership. W's to you, good sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, guys, if you know of other people teaching this stuff on the internet, then please feel free to go elsewhere, I guess. We got Bella Lagos in there with a membership. W's to you. Can we get 13 more? I think we can. I think we can. We got Mac B in with a channel membership. W's to you, good sir. I hope you had a great movie night last night. Let's see. That brings us up to 38. Can we get 12 more? Yo, Hans! Hans in with the dub with 10 channel memberships. W's to you, good sir. Really appreciate it. Guys, we need 2 more. 2 more to get to our halfway point for the membership goal for today. And then we will continue the stream. Because that's the way we roll. You guys show up for me, I will show up for you. If you guys don't show up for me, I won't show up for you. Mac B's movie night choices have been awesome. They really have been. He does a really great job. We need 2 more memberships, guys. That's like 2 people giving 1 membership. That's like $5. Yo, Hans. Hans and with it. Hans saved all your asses. Hans saved all your asses. W's to you, Hans. Thank you so much for getting us to our halfway point. Really appreciate it. We also got a W for origami. Thank you, good sir. W's to you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Let's keep going. Guys, remember, if I teach you something that you don't know, if I help you look at things in a new way, if I make you laugh by telling off a retard in my chat, feel free to show your appreciation. I'm independently funded by you guys. I cannot do this unless you guys allow me to do it. I appreciate all of you. Let's keep going.
It's just not actually accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
And the bioclinicians and the capitalists want us to think that there's something, profoundly different about the two because they make money off the difference, because they can basically sell people parenthood rights, or as they also want to sort of.
Surrogacy under capitalism is selling people parents' rights. Surrogacy under socialism is building a world outside of the oppressive force of capitalism. W's to you, F1. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate the gifted channel membership. So again, Sophie does not like surrogacy under capitalism. She only likes surrogacy under communism.
Because they make money off the difference, because they can basically sell people parenthood rights, or as they also want to sort of put it, like babies, basically, through this industry. But I think that the potential for solidarity between.
We got a membership. We got 5 memberships over on Rumble. Goro with the big dub over on Rumble. 5 gifted channel memberships. Thanks so much, Goro. Really appreciate you.
Between people who, manufacture new human beings across the waged and unwaged divide is I know it's very vertiginous. It's scary, but people have always been relating to babies as a something that we must all respond to, take care of, mother and parent, right? James Baldwin has been much quoted in the context of the genocide of Palestinians because, you know, Gaza and is one of the places on earth that is most full of children. It's the youngest population. It's all children. It's half children, you know. And James Baldwin, I've seen quoted all over every movement in solidarity with Palestinians. You know, that he said the children are all ours. You know, every one of them. But you know, a million different people have expressed this sentiment a different
All
way.
the kids belong
If
to
if we
everyone.
really don't have any critique
Yep.
of
Drink
the idea
boots.
that a baby
Okay.
is the property of their parents,
Boom.
I don't think we can actually.
Hang on. Sophie's saying it again. We love Sophie. Eric. Okay, Eric's asking a question. How is surrogacy under commies not treating women more like industrial breeding sows? Because it is not under capitalism. That's how. It's not under capitalism. Capitalism is the factor. And Eric, I need to remind you, whether or not you agree with them or whether or not you like what they're saying, it doesn't make a difference. They believe what they believe. It is not for money under communism. Bot is correct. Surrogacy is not for money under communism because money doesn't exist under communism.
If we really don't have any critique of the idea that a baby is the property
Yeah,
of
Sophie
their
loves
parents,
Alexander Kollontai.
I don't think we can
Like,
actually
loves.
fight surrogacy.
Let's listen to that again. Hang on.
This sentiment a different way. If we really don't have any critique.
Sir, socialists are ugly. Do you have anything intelligent to say in the chat? Do you is this I don't recognize you. Is this the peak that we can expect of your intellectual contributions to this class? Because you've just wandered into a class. Old sub, holy shit. Hang on. Old sub, let me tell this person off and then I will give you the attention you duly deserve. You just walked into a classroom and said, that's the peak? That's as much as we can expect? You just walked into a classroom and said, these people are ugly. I'm very sorry, not smart enough to be here. Go away, goodbye, permanently banned from the channel. Old sub. Old sub, I don't even know how to say thank you for how generous you are with the entire chat and with me. You are the fucking king, sir. You are a legend. You deserve all the W's. I need everyone in the chat right now to give Old Sub a W for dropping 50 channel memberships on the stream for everyone. How fucking cool is that? I have the best community on the internet. I have the best supporters on the internet because we dish out channel memberships, which gets you access to supporter perks like candy. Thank you so much, Old Sub. Really, like I feel embarrassed sometimes how generous you are, and I really appreciate it more than words can say. All right. Everyone listen. Everyone paying attention. Everyone paying attention.
You know, every one of them. But, you know, a million different people have expressed this sentiment a different way. If we really don't have any critique of the idea that a baby is the property of their parents, I don't think we can actually fight surrogacy as an industry effectively, because we're in on the hook too. We the people not involved who would never, you know, because we already have a kind of property relation vis-a-vis children, and it's called the patriarchal or capitalist private family. You know, that's the problem. I mean, that's the sort of bad news thing, but it's
we already have a propertied relationship via children, and it's called, what did Sophie say explicitly? The patriarchal
capitalist private family. You know,
it's called the patriarchal or capitalist private family. That is how they refer to the nuclear family. The capitalist family, sometimes they call it the Fordist family, sometimes they call it the private family, sometimes they call it the nuclear family. It's meant to refer to this unit that they believe capitalism created in order to privatize resources out of the collective, and also in order to reproduce capitalist values via the patriarchy. Why does it via the patriarchy? Because the patriarchy is the gender disparity between men and women. Men are in the workplace, they have all the power, all the money. Women are in the home doing the unpaid labor of having and raising the next generation of workers under capitalism in the form of the children. The men have all the power, the women have none of the power. That gender hierarchy is called the patriarchy. The nuclear family does not exist without the categories of men and women, because without the socially constructed categories of men and women, the women wouldn't be oppressed within the nuclear family. The nuclear family reproduces capitalism. I'm explaining what they believe. I'm not saying what I believe. I'm explaining what they believe. The nuclear family reproduces capitalism because capitalist parents have children and raise them with capitalist values and then send them into the workforce to be the next generation of workers to replenish the previous generation. That is why they want to abolish the family. 1 in the chat if you understand, 2 in the chat if you're confused. If you're confused, please ask a question.
Is the property of their parents. I don't think we can actually fight surrogacy as an industry effectively, because we're in on the hook too. We the people not involved who would never, because we already have a kind of property relation vis-a-vis children, and it's called the patriarchal or capitalist private family. That's the problem. I mean, that's the sort of bad news thing, but it's also kind of good news because it means that we can be in political struggle together with waged gestational laborers, surrogates,
surrogates are oppressed under capitalism because it is waged labor. It is feeding the capitalist system. Can you repeat the exact statement you said about gestation? I don't remember exactly what I said, but in the communist utopia, they want to gestate babies outside of the womb, because if they gestate babies outside of the womb, there will be no form of biological kinship, and that will inherently get rid of parental rights, and all of the children will belong to everyone else. I hope I'm answering your question. I don't remember exactly what I said.
Can reinvent this whole thing. There's something about the surrogacy industry that kind of inconveniently reveals something about how humans are made, how the sausage of natural parenthood is made.
Yeah.
That I think is quite uncomfortable. But if we were brave enough to kind of to squint through it, that utopian way, I think we might be able to think, wow, what if we all helped one another?
Old sub, in my ideal world, we would have more people making channel membership gifts and not just you and Cynthia and Hans and a couple other people. Actually, no, there have been a ton of people that made. I don't want to diminish the gifts of anyone. We've already had a ton of people making channel membership gifts today. But the thing is, I want to start training people to be more participatory. I know we can meet these goals. It's not unreasonable. And I don't want you to have to carry the burden. And I don't want Cynthia and Hans and other people who are like the big whales of the chat. I love you guys. I appreciate all of you. You know I do. I feel guilty that some of you are carrying the burden of the channel membership goals. But I love that you have the ability to do it and that you share the wealth with everyone. So I'm trying to encourage more people to get involved. But I very much appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And whether or not, listen. Everyone has different levels of ability. I know that we have enough people who have the ability to give that we can compensate for the people who don't have the ability to give or can't give as much. But you giving a channel membership is fucking awesome. And if that's what you can do, I so appreciate it, bro. I really do. I appreciate everyone who's donating. You guys are all honestly the best. Bella Lagos, thank you for the super sticker, bro. Really appreciate that.
Where where baby making was concerned, and we recognized the sort of truth that people who know children often do know instinctively, which is that they belong to all of us perhaps, but they belong to no one but themselves.
Lots of your writing has left like sort of fizzy plane trails in my head as I try and like orient myself around some really
Exactly.
thought-provoking
Don't feel
ideas.
bad.
And the kind of logical outflow of that first book was Abolish the Family, which is this fuller expression of what that utopian, if we squint, world might look like. And very much correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that you really do mean that title in a much more literal sense. And if so, what do you mean by abolishing the family?
I mean, okay. I can answer it 2 ways. I won't do the frustrating thing first. I'll say that what I mean is that people.
Hang on. So is this why they strip parental rights and don't hesitate to separate children from families? Yes. Is this connected? Because they do try to encourage children to be secretive in certain ways. Exactly. Now you are starting to understand. Now you're seeing where these ideas come from. These ideas come from the far left. They come from people like Sophie Lewis. They come from people who have been preaching abolish the family as a way to abolish capitalism for years and years and years, and they have trickled down into the school system. This is the origin point of these ideas. These ideas will not go away in the public schools until the far left is defeated. And this is actually a really important point, bro. It's a really important point. These ideas will not go away in the public schools until the root cause of these ideas is defeated. It's not just about getting on the school board. Getting on the school board is not going to defeat these ideas. What needs to happen is people need to become aware of them. They need to become aware of where these ideas come from. They need to be aware of specifically why they're being pushed in the schools, because it's not just about transing the kids. It's not even about that at all. It's about abolishing the idea of gender entirely and stripping people of parental rights. That is what they are doing. That is where these ideas come from. That is the origin point of all this crazy shit. If you do not understand this, you do not understand the left.
Would be much happier living much more collectively in a post-capitalist society, liberated from the work form. Not to say we wouldn't labor for one another.
Yes.
But
because the nuclear family is the reproduction mechanism of capitalism. The nuclear family is where capitalist ideas and values are reproduced. They cannot get to communism until they abolish capitalism. They can't abolish capitalism without abolishing the nuclear family, because the nuclear family is literally where capitalism is reproduced via raising children with capitalist values and then sending them to be part of the capitalist workforce. This is what they believe. This is not what I believe.
Wouldn't be laboring for value, and our ability to, care for one another would become the logical center of our society. Currently, we have a very fundamental priority of accumulation over care. And, care is in the service of accumulation, really. That the family is, in a sense, a technology of work. It provides the workers for, for capitalism to expand through. But in a, a commune-based society, there is no surplus value imperative to steal all of our sociality and all of our loving from us, and we get to decide what it is we that really matters to us, and the thing like relations that we think of as, familial today, would have a
Biological.
chance to discover themselves and actualize themselves. I think I envision larger sorts of compounds, perhaps, things that buildings that involve leisure and collective eating, collective
Collective
functions
eating.
like laundry and all of this, and play. And I think there are plenty of compelling visions to this effect. There's Emmy O'Brien's, there's Iman Abdelhadi's, there's Charles Fourier going back 200 years. But I mean, I also want to be clear that, and I'm sorry if this this is annoying, but I think it's so important.
I have, it's quite difficult to annoy me, and you're nowhere close. So.
So abolish does mean do away with. It certainly does. But I insist on this word, partly because even though it's understood as destroy by fire, it means the opposite. It means the opposite. And I'm just stubbornly insisting on this, and I'm trying to write as much as possible in everything I write about what abolition actually means. And it's this word that has a very, very rich tradition of meaning, positively supersede. And how do you abolish something? It's paradoxical. It's the opposite of what people think. You actually pay attention to what is valuable about the thing that you're confronting. What is it that has purchase on us? What is it that is actually being provisioned? What need is actually being met by this thing that could be and must be, should be so much better? So in the context of prisons, it's kind of easy. We've already used language like this, and Elizabeth, you were doing it yourself. What was it? We are each other's,
safety.
Right. Abolitionists always say, we keep each other safe. We are each other's safety. We are each other's freedom. The abolitionist approach to the prison industrial complex is to say, look, we really do have. It works. It gets our consent because we have this profound need for safety. Now, let's start there and look at what the thing is doing. Is it meeting that need? Is it working? And what would actually meet our need? And the strange thing about the concept is that because you start with the real part, the part that is that needs to be dignified, you're sort of turning the whole thing inside out. So, instead of a prison industrial complex, you'd have whatever the sort of, opposite of that is, a series of community relationships and infrastructures that.
So Sophie, that might seem weird that she just brought up prisons out of nowhere, but abolishing the prison industrial complex, abolishing the police, abolishing ICE, abolishing DHS, abolishing all prisons, that is central to what every communist believes. There is not someone who is a communist that does not want to abolish the police. That is that is a central demand that they have, and that will never go away. So that's why you just heard prisons coming up in like the middle of the presentation, because that is part of abolition. The police are the protectors of capitalism. ICE are the enforcers of the border. DHS are the enforcers of the border. The border is about capitalism. So they want to abolish all of those things. That includes all prison, because they believe in the communist utopia. Crime will be drastically reduced, maybe not eliminated, but drastically reduced, because people only commit crime because of capitalism. That's what they believe.
You're sort of turning the whole thing inside out. So, instead of a prison industrial complex, you'd have whatever the sort of, opposite of that is, a series of community relationships and infrastructures that.
Rehabilitation, non-industrial complex.
Yeah. And so, and it sounds like it couldn't possibly apply to chattel slavery, but actually, when you read the historians and the philosophers about this concept abolition, you realize that and we're very distant from this, so it seems really weird. But slavery was part of a
welcome, Betty.
humanism. It was an idea of how things should be ordered and how we should be in relation with one another in order to realize enlightenment values of the human. And plenty of people defended slavery on that basis, right? It was a very fundamental idea about capitalist society that we should, in a way, take care of certain populations in this way by owning them. And so abolition of slavery is not just certain figures like Abraham Lincoln saying, we will no longer do that anymore.
I mean, consent would be fully there all the time. So consent is part of their core value system. They're not talking about the Handmaid's Tale.
On the contrary, it is the process by which the people commodified, dehumanized, rise from below and say, nice humanism you got there, bro. Be ashamed
Nice
if someone were to
humanism you
actually
got
start
there.
actualizing it and showing the contradictions of it by working with the thing that was actually okay and decent about Enlightenment humanism, the idea that all men are brothers. That's the part that actually the enslaved themselves are going, that not bad. What about
Sounds good.
What about if we actually did it though? What about if we started moving towards a humanism worthy of the name, right? And that's how you abolish slavery, not by sort of passing laws that but by turning the logic of the slave society inside out. And I think with the family, it's a similar thing. You look at what family promises humanity, and it's so profound, right? The ideal of family is actually genuinely, it's utopian in the negative sense. It's like you will be, automatically held unknown by those who are, non-contingently bound to you. The fantasy that blood is thicker than water automatically. That would be really nice. It would feel really nice. I happen to think it's actually nicer, although more dizzying, to recognize what anthropologists have always recognized, which is that, blood is made.
Do women ever buy into this ideology because they're childless? No. Many abolish the family communists have children. Emmy O'Brien, who is Sophie Lewis's best friend, who has literally written a book about abolishing the family, has a kid. It has nothing to do with any of your conservative bullshit talking points. It has to do with they believe that the world will fundamentally be better if they abolish capitalism, which would give people more access to the care that they need, and everyone would be better off. Are they childless because of the ideology? I don't know why you're making the assumption that they're childless. Obviously, you have been watching too much grifter conservative media, because they literally have childcare built into their fucking meetings. Excuse me, Karlyn, all socialists are childless. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, you think so? You think so? Let's go to the website for the Socialism Conference. The Socialism Conference is one of the largest mass gatherings of socialists in the country every year. Sophie Lewis is a featured speaker at the Socialism Conference, by the way. There she is on their website. About ticket info, hotel info, conference schedules, COVID, how to get here, special accommodations, da-da-da-da-da. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Not what I'm looking. Oh, childcare! Childcare! At the Socialism Conference. Gee, why would all those childless commies have childcare at their conference if they don't have kids? Socialists at their events do more to offer childcare than conservatives do at their events. They have kids. Many socialists are second-generation socialists or third generation can't speak, I'm so annoyed. They are second or third generation socialists. They had parents who were socialists. They had grandparents who were socialists. Yeah, conservatives think commies are just mentally ill losers, and they are not. Exactly. They genuinely think they would make the world a better place by overthrowing capitalism. The Socialism Conference offers free on-site childcare for children ages 6 months to 13 years to all conference attendees who purchase a conference ticket and inform us of their childcare needs. We will make this a priority so that all parents can attend and fully participate in the conference. Yada 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 yada. So this myth that conservatives have perpetuated, that they're all just childless spinsters and that's why they want to abolish the family, is retarded, and it is unhinged from reality, and it's debunked literally just by going to socialist event websites, because they always offer childcare. I've gone undercover with these people more than anyone. There are always kids. There are literally always kids. There are always kids running around. There may not be many kids at some of the events because some of them are just not of that type, but I already did in 2023. I can't do this one again. Other people have to do it. I already did this undercover. They were really pissed off about it. They have a disclaimer at this conference because of me. Literally at this conference now, every subsequent year since I went undercover, they tell everyone in every single presentation, please be aware that everything that you're saying could be recorded, because when I went undercover, they all went viral for the shit I privately recorded at their conference. So, I've already done it. Other people have to do it. I'm not getting the shit kicked out of me for you guys. Someone else has to step up.
Or kinship is made. It's always made. There's no automatic thing that creates.
I'll tell you
a
how to do it if you want to go, by the way.
Care. Sure, there are like hormones and all kinds of cool things that go on between people, including fetuses that come out of our bodies and recognize our smells and have all sorts of chemical resonances. Sure. There are, we are literally made of one another. We are one another's makers. But there is nothing about, the fantasy we have about genetics or the blood metaphor that comes from it that connects us. It is labor. It is action, and that's a bit more scary.
Let's think about this for a moment. The socialists offer childcare at their events. Turning Point USA does not offer childcare at their events. They're all childless spinsters, and that's why they're communists. Okay, well then why are they offering childcare at their events and Turning Point USA is not offering childcare at theirs? Family values. Family values conservatives. Okay.
Sounds like something you can depend on less reliably, but once you take the leap of recognizing that that it's always non-contingent. It's always contingent. Excuse me, and that the fantasy of family is something that holds. I think holds humanity back from knowing this red love that is our birthright.
The family holds us back from the red love that is our birthright. What a great Sophism.
And that the fantasy of family is something that holds. I think holds humanity back from knowing this red love that is our birthright. You start to find glimpses of the abolitionist approach to care all around you. And going back to the beginning, what you asked me, I mean, that's what really makes me feel I'm in the presence of the sacred, when people recognize one another as, if you like, kin across greater distances, when the hospitality we owe to the stranger, the hospitality we also owe to those we think of as our own, right? The really profound duty we have to be curious towards those we think of as closest, right? Like nobody it belongs to you in that way, that you might not be totally surprised by who they actually are, right? That goes back to parenting and children too.
Man, so this is like, it's so challenging, right? Like the whole phrase abolish family is challenging, and you've spent years promoting this book, so you know the associations, that it sounds like family separations. In fact, it sounds like people aren't allowed to love each other. It sounds like the kind of Stalinist deliberate attempt to loosen family ties, although I went reading about that and I was like, I can't even get a clear picture about what happened
Stalin
there.
was massively pro-family. Stalin was the biggest family.
Okay.
Stalin was pro-family. As a reminder for people who are new, these communists hate Stalin. They disavow Stalin. They never liked Stalin. They believe that the rightful inheritor of the revolution was Trotsky, not Stalin. They believe Stalin fucked everything up. Stalin was pro-family. Stalin wasn't, doing what we wanted. They also do not like Mao because Mao is in the tradition of Stalin. So all this bullshit about this is the Cultural Revolution in China. This is like Maoism with Chinese characteristics. That's all bullshit, because none of them like Mao either, because Mao is in the tradition of Stalin.
Spent years promoting this book, so you know the associations, that it sounds like family separations. In fact, it sounds like people aren't allowed to love each other. It sounds like the kind of Stalinist deliberate attempt to loosen family ties, although I went reading about that and I was like, I can't even get a clear picture about what happened
Stalin
there.
was massively pro-family. Stalin was the biggest family values guy.
Okay, so this is why I'm like, this thing I picked up, put a big asterisk by it, asterisk. I read my kids asterisks also. But so yeah, I think I'm going to be thinking about your work for a long time, because there are so many of the phrases you use. I'm like, I could have written that, right? Like when you said, I have this phrase, we are made for each other and we are made by each other. And you have this thing like, we are the makers of each other and we should start acting like it. We are just like, I'm an increasingly fundamentalist communitarian. The centrality of relationship is so key. And then there's all these other things that I have different intuitions about. But what I was thinking about when you were speaking there is the other place I find equally challenging about the family is Jesus. And when he says, basically the biological family are knocking on the door, and he's like, no, this is my family, right? The sort of Christian family values thing is a very bizarre inversion of the vision of the New Testament, which is actually,
She's saying that Jesus made the argument to abolish the family. Jesus didn't. This is literally what this woman just said. Jesus did not define the family by biology. Jesus defined the family by his family of choice, his relations outside the family, his kin of choice. Jesus was in favor of abolishing the family according to communists. Again, madam, again, about Jesus.
That I have different intuitions about. But what I was thinking about when you were speaking there is the other place I find equally challenging about the family is Jesus. And when he says, basically the biological family are knocking on the door, and he's like, no, this is my family, right? The sort of Christian family values thing is a very bizarre inversion of the vision of the New Testament, which is actually something different. And there's obviously quite a long history about the overlap between Christianity and Marxism, but I'm going to have to go and sit with and digest the sense that when you say comrades, not kin, or comradeliness, comradeliness? How do I never said that word out loud before? Comradeliness, and mum raids. Mum rads. I feel like an idiot. And I'm like, oh, wait a second here. That there is something in my own theological tradition that is sounding a not dissimilar note. That I'm also like instinctively, oh, that feels potentially hostile. Like, and then I run it through all the things that you write about, which is about the fact that I had a very powerful experience of a loving family of origin, right? And I am now part of, interestingly enough, a kind of biological family unit within a larger community house. So we are doing this, we're sort of running both experiments alongside, and I get the benefit of both, right? Like we are the parents, and do I think I own them? I don't know, but I'm certainly like the one taking
She is a parent. Did everyone just catch that? These are all childless spinsters. This woman has kids and apparently is raising these kids in some sort of polycule environment where her and whoever she had the kids with are there, and the kids are there, and then there are other comrades there as well, because polyamory is one of the ways they're queering the nuclear family to raise kids outside of the capitalist system and without capitalist values. Did everyone catch that? No, this has nothing to do with transhumanism. Completely different thing. Nothing to do with it at all. Yeah. They're all just childless spinsters. Indeed. Indeed. Conservatives.
Oh,
Indeed.
that feels potentially hostile. Like, and then I run it through all the things that you write about, which is about the fact that I had a very powerful experience of a loving family of origin, right? And I am now.
Okay, I've explained this 5 or 6 times in this stream, but you may have just gotten here, so I will explain it again. The goal of the socialists and communists is to overthrow or abolish capitalism. Capitalism is explicitly defined as private property ownership. Private property means bourgeois property, property that you can use to create personal privatized wealth, your ability to own a home, your ability to own land, your ability to own an apartment that you rent out as a landlord, your intellectual property, your ability to own a private business, whether that private business is big or small, and your parental rights over your children are considered to be a form of private property ownership because you pass private wealth from parent to child, thus keeping it within the nuclear family. They believe that parental rights are a form of ownership of your children, and they believe that getting rid of parental rights would liberate children from the oppressive system of the nuclear family, yada, yada, yada. So that is where the idea of ownership of children comes from, because they believe that parental rights are a form of capitalism that they want to abolish.
Part of, interestingly enough, a kind of biological family unit within a larger community house. So we are doing this, we're sort of running both experiments alongside, and I get the benefit of both, right? Like we are the parents, and do I think I own them? I don't know, but I'm certainly like the one taking responsibility for them. But I have so much support, which makes it possible. That was not a coherent question. It was a bunch of responses.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, sure.
Yo!
Well, there are different pieces.
The queen has arrived. Cynthia is here. The legend of Cynthia. Thank you for the 10 gifted channel memberships, my darling. We love you. We appreciate you. Everyone give a good dub in the chat for Cynthia. Thank you so much for your ongoing and perpetual support.
I might, let me see what's most useful with our limited time. I mean, I understand the weird sort of, the word comrade or comrade. I mean, does that evoke Stalinism in people's minds? If so, I'm just as against it as anybody else.
Sophie is against Stalinism, so if the idea of comrade provokes Stalinism, Sophie doesn't want to do it.
The time. I mean, I understand the the weird sort of the word comrade or comrade. I mean, does that evoke Stalinism in people's minds? If so, I'm just as against it as anybody else. I think we lack, honestly, good words for the ways that relating could showcase our humanity most spectacularly, right? I mean, I'm right. I mean, I think if I want to say to someone, if I were to be in a situation with you where you just tug on my heartstrings and I think, my God, what a person, I might say to you, well, okay, it wouldn't happen very soon probably, but I'd be like,
This has nothing to do with how Sophie feels about her family, guys. You've got to get this antiquated notion out of your heads. This has nothing to do with how they feel about their own family. This has to do with they believe everyone would be better off if the nuclear family didn't exist.
your family to me, that I'm your sister. I'm your, we use language of kinship to say to one another, wow, I am committed to you. I'm pledged to you. You're my sister from another mess. You're my, and that's not something that's not somehow on my tongue. I just really resonate with those of us who sit with it. So my friend Tiffany King reflects beautifully on how much she loves her family, and this is in the context of a diasporic Black American family, and she talks about how sacred the practices of Black kin-making and family are to her, and actually finds a way through that reflection to family abolitionism, which is exactly kind of what I'm always suggesting, that you actually start by the love of your family to get there, which is counterintuitive to people.
What does Sophie mean by that? What does Sophie mean by that? It has nothing to do with it. What did I just say? You've got to get this idea out of your head. Please unlearn this. It has nothing to do with how they personally feel about their family. What does Sophie mean by this? That the way to get to abolishing the family is to, what did she say specifically? Listen again.
American family, and she talks about how sacred the practices of Black kin-making and family are to her, and actually finds a way through that reflection to family abolitionism, which is exactly kind of what I'm always
thank you
suggesting, that you actually start by the love of your family to get there, which is
you start by the love of your family to get there. Sophie just said, let me add this to the goal before I forget, because we want to honor every channel membership that's been donated today, and now I've completely fucked up my keyboard by spilling, apparently, nail polish remover on it. Don't worry, I fixed it by slamming my fist on it, though. Okay, Sophie just said that if you start by the love of your family to get to family abolition. What does she mean by that? What does she mean? You actually start by the love of your family to get to the idea of abolishing the family, even though I know that might seem counterintuitive. That's what Sophie just said. I actually have a new keyboard. I just haven't set it up yet. I already have it sitting on the floor. I'm being lazy about it. What do you want? If you really love your family, you want them to have access to everything they need. Bot has it exactly right. Yes, by liberating your family so that they can have access to all of the resources, the social relationships of people in your family will be greater. Not just the social relationships. Everything will be better for the people in your family without the oppression of capitalism. Yes, exactly. If you truly love your family, then you want to communize care so that everyone will be better off. Sometimes it just takes hearing something more than once origami and then getting told to cut that shit out. So listen, bro, everyone, don't worry about it. I understand where you're coming from. That is exactly what Sophie's saying. This is why origami, this actually relates directly to what you're saying, bro, because like conservatives, again, they have this idea that the people who want to abolish the family, they hate their family, they don't have kids. None of that is true. They want to abolish the family for a completely different reason. And in fact, they think that abolishing the family is one of the greatest acts of love that you can perform because it means giving people access to all of the resources and getting rid of this system that's oppressing them. If you really love them, you want them to be liberated. I'm explaining what they believe. I'm not saying what I believe. Okay? Listen again. Yo, Cynthia, another 10 memberships. W's to you, Cynthia. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting my work. You are the bestest. You, old sub, Hans, everyone, all of the big swinging dicks of the chat. I apologize. I'm not naming everyone. You guys are the bestest. But also, people who are just donating a single channel membership are also the bestest. And people donating 5 channel memberships are also the bestest. You guys are all the bestest, okay? And another one just for good measure, Cynthia, just because. Just because. All right. Another dub for Cynthia. She is insatiable. She can't help herself. Thank you, Cynthia. We love you. Yeah. See, it's different when you actually listen to them directly, isn't it? It's different when you actually listen to them directly. I always believed they were bad faith actors, but they genuinely believe this would liberate people. Yes. And that's part of the challenge, right? Because Sophie Lewis is not an evil person, okay? As much as I give Sophie grief online, as much as she doesn't like it that we watch her videos, Sophie Lewis is not an evil person. She really isn't. She doesn't want to sexualize kids. She actually wants to protect kids from sexualization. I've heard her say this. I've actually heard her say this in person. She believes that kids will have better protection because she believes that most abuse happens in the nuclear family. And so she actually believes that children will be protected from sexualization if we abolish the family. These are not bad people. Well, some of them are bad. Sophie is not a bad person. Many other people who push this ideology, they are not evil. They are not trying to harm your kids. They genuinely believe that they're doing the right thing. They genuinely believe that your kids and their kids and everyone else's kids will be better off under their ideas. Now, they're fucking wrong, but they're in a cult and they can't see that they're wrong. But it really does add a lot of nuance to why this is happening. And if people don't understand this, then the conservatives have not been effective in fighting this at all because they don't understand the nature of these ideas. Yeah, it's the very definition of the road to hell is paved in good intentions. Yes, they have good intentions. I'm not trying to demonize Sophie. I'm really not. We might give her grief. I feel like we could be a lot more evil to Sophie than we are, quite frankly. But I don't know. It makes it more difficult to fight because they do genuinely have positive intentions with what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, and they do believe in it. Yeah, they 100,000 million bajillion% believe in it.
That reflection to family abolitionism, which is exactly kind of what I'm always suggesting, that you actually start by the love of your family to get there, which is counterintuitive to people. But Tiffany makes it really clear that if you think through what the people in your family deserve based on your love of them, you get somewhere quite abolitionist, that love takes us there. Because of the way that love directs us to wanting people's immersion in care.
Seriously, Cynthia? Seriously? Another dub for Cynthia, another 10 gifted channel memberships. Cynthia, You spoil me, my darling. You spoil me. You spoil all of us. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much.
As well as their maximal autonomy as
W's
is,
in
you
the
know,
chat
as
for the
is
queen,
possible in a
please.
capitalist society. And that's a road that unfurls, or as the Zapatistas say, it kind of is made by walking. And she says there are other ways to name.
Hang on, we got a question. Quick clarification: socialism versus communism, and where the far left believes the difference lie. They don't believe there is a difference. They don't. It doesn't. They use these terms interchangeably. They use socialism interchangeably with communism. Technically, maybe you could say socialism is the transitionatory mechanism of communism, but in practicality, in the real world, they use the terms socialism and communism interchangeably. They're interchangeable. So, for our intents and purposes, we don't distinguish between the two because they don't distinguish between the two. No, we're doing Disenraged tonight. Actually, let me show you what we're doing real quick. You guys are going to love this. Disenrage is at 9 p.m. tonight, and we're doing Channeling Charlie Kirk. So Jennifer and I are going to watch a couple videos where they're psychics that are actually channeling the spirit of Charlie Kirk. So we got a couple options. I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a great night, man. So that is going to be at 9 p.m. tonight. Disenrage is a show that Jennifer and I do on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. It's a little bit of a lighter content show. We watch a lot of spiritual videos and aliens and conspiracy theories and tarot cards and magic and stuff like that. So it's a non-politics show, but I think tonight's episode is going to be really, really, really fascinating. So join us at 9 p.m. and you can watch that.
One another as relations, and she doesn't say what they are. I think because we don't.
I fixed my keyboard, by the way.
We still do perhaps need to invent
crisis averted
forms that make sense and that suggest the right words.
Yeah, they're still wearing
Comrade is
masks.
one that I do feel.
Yeah, actually, I'll show you. Let's go back to the Socialism Conference information page. So again, this is for Socialism Conference in 2026. This is this year's conference, okay? COVID precautions. Attendees are required to wear a mask over their mouth and nose while indoors at the conferences. Masks will be provided. This requirement applies to all formal conference spaces and sessions. Attendees should be aware of the possibility that attendees will be unmasked elsewhere, blah, 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 blah. So yes, to this day, they are still requiring masks. To this day. At all their events. This is not the only event. Most of the Antifa events that I've been to required masks, which was beneficial to me because it was like part of the disguise, honestly.
Fond of, but it's ruined by the, the travesty and counter-revolutionary.
I just saw this video. That guy on Fox News was wearing a mask. I literally just saw this fucking video. Did you guys see? I don't know exactly what the context is, but some guy was interviewed on Fox News and he was wearing a fucking mask. Like a full-on mask that looked like a real face, except you could see the end of the mask. Like it's like a lizard person. It was like the weirdest fucking thing. If you haven't seen that, you got to Google it because that shit was fucking weird.
Sort of a horror show that emerged under the name of communism in the 21st century. That was the most sort of uncommunist thing.
It was an uncommunist
ever.
thing. An uncomradely thing, guys. An uncomradely thing.
I still find that it conjures a certain honor. There's something sort of honorable about it. But I mean, that's the thing. Perhaps we don't have the names. I mean, the word friend ought to be extremely ennobling, right? It's somehow like a low sort of status thing. Like we get friend zoned. Like that shouldn't be an edification.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I have been on Fox News and they did not soften my face at all. They made me look fucking green. Like when I was on Fox News, they did not soften my fucking face at all. So don't tell me this is the Fox. I've been on Fox News multiple times where they didn't apply any sort of filter to me that made me look like I was wearing a fucking mask. I don't believe that for one red second.
But I think because Friends, Friend is great. Maybe Friend needs to be stretched more. People do theorize and philosophize beautifully about the Friend form because I think it's not so proprietary, right? We don't think we have and own our friends in the same way that we own our relatives. Is we recognize the labor that makes the love.
I have a phrase, friendship is my theory of change. And I think about it a lot, but we haven't got another
Friendship
hour.
is
So
my
I'm going to
theory
finish on
of
this question, which
change.
is letting love lead us back to family. When you think about your mum, who you can be writing about abolish the family and also be at her bedside as she dies, and that be no contradiction whatsoever, how would her life have been different if she'd had access to some of these utopian different structures that you're gesturing towards?
Yeah, that's what I wanted for her. I wanted family abolition for her sake, in large part. She would have been able to figure out what she really wanted to do. She was a wonderful writer. She was hilarious as well. I can imagine her finding a way to help people. She wanted to be a therapist. She was for a few years, but it became not possible because of her mental health and sorrow. I imagine that she would be able to be a much bigger part of her community. She became very isolated in the way that many people in heterosexual marriages in private single family households
You're
do.
welcome, Betty. I do my best.
There's a way in which we think the suicidality of the housewife belongs to the 1950s and don't necessarily think about how the same misery remains in dual income households because of how imperfectly we've actually escaped that economic moment, right? We're in a very different political economy, but we're still depending in an absolutely exhausting, I mean that in like a depleting, extractive way on the free love, of disproportionately women. And love is too, vital a thing to be organized by capitalism.
Love is too vital a thing to be organized by capitalism. Sophie very literally believes that love cannot exist under capitalism.
Sophie Lewis, thank you so much for
Is that
spending some time.
BG is finally on the fucking scene.
Oh, it was an honor.
Oh,
It's
that
an
is
honor,
it.
Elizabeth.
Shit.
Thank you for having me.
Shit. What's going on with BG on the scene? Let's look that up real quick. We just finished the Sophie stream. What's going on with BG? Let's tune in for some protest coverage, guys. Protest coverage!
Did these cars come out somewhere?
Look at this. You guys weren't expecting protest coverage bonus, were you? Welcome to the real stream. We can do this for a little while. We do have this stream at 9, but let's watch. Who wants to watch some protest coverage? 1 in the chat for protest coverage, 2 in the chat for you don't want to do this anymore. Let me know. Looks like it's hopping in New Jersey today. He was there all morning. I almost got up and watched that, but I was like, nah. Yeah, it's getting wild in New Jersey. It's so fun. Protesting is back. We're back, guys. Seeing all those losers who left early, they don't get protest coverage now. People are like, Karlyn, this is boring and commies are stupid. Okay, well, you don't get to watch protest coverage with us, do you, asshole? Go away. Yeah, hooray for protest season! Hooray! Migra la migra.
No. It's like you guys got a little bit too hard over Rodriguez!
You're walking by your queer bookstore? Yo, he has a gong? What the fuck? Dang. I had no idea PPP got a gong. Hopefully they stay on the scene there because there's a lot of shit. I might even get up early to cover this tomorrow.
When they go along.
We need a tent. Where are we going to set the tent up? At like these things? Yeah, Disoy Gong Stealer.
That's when they got real aggressive. I laughed about this, but I never saw it on it.
You know, I'm not really thrilled about the idea of having to go to New Jersey, Charles, if I'm being honest about it. I'd rather go to almost any state in the country than New Jersey. No offense to New Jerseyans or whatever you guys are called. Maybe I should go, though. Maybe I was just talking to Victor the other day. I was like, Victor, I've just got this brand new car and I really like driving it. Should I do a communism tour of the Northeast? Maybe I should go to New Jersey. Do you guys think I should go to New Jersey? It wouldn't be, it's not actually that far, if I'm being honest about it. I could drive to New Jersey. I could do that. I've been seriously thinking, well, yeah, see, this is the problem. We're gonna like Uber. We're Ubering out to the ICE facility. We're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb. We are hiding the fucking new car and we are Ubering out to the ICE facility is what's going to happen. But I have actually seriously been thinking about doing a little communism tour around like a communism road trip or something where like I travel around to all different locations in the Northeast and I like go to different commie spots and do videos and stuff like that. I've been thinking about it. Maybe something for July or August. Karlyn's summer commie tour. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Get him. Yo, get him. Get him. Beat their asses. I don't know if I want to go to Chicago. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Chicago. Who knows? Got him.
Get in the way! Be like Renee! Get in the way! Be like Renee! Get in the way! Be like Renee! Get in the way! If you want! Get in the way! Share this live stream.
Yeah, Disoy Commie Tour 2026. You guys know I'm upping my disguise game. I'm not going to tell you exactly how I'm doing it yet, although it will become clear eventually. I'm upping my disguise game now to be able to go to stuff like this. No one's going to recognize me. Not with a creepy mask. I have another plan.
Okay, so
Oh, the streamers are on the ground. Look at all the streamers. Look at all the streamers. Look at all the streamers. That means more coverage for us, guys. More streamers, more coverage. More streamers, more coverage.
Yeah, you had to. You had to. Put the weapons down. You got to. Go ahead. I'd love to see that.
A lot more people. Yeah, it's going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is going to be awesome for us, guys. This is going to be great for us. Let's go. Let's go.
I don't care who you are.
Welcome. You're going to do me like a dog. You got spray
Yep, college is out. College is out. Let's go.
You got dogs. Ya son. Ya son perros.
Oh,
Sin
Spanish.
vergüenza.
Hola.
That's some fucking dogs.
Hola, senor.
Put them guns down. See how tough that motherfucker is.
Yo, Charles! Charles, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. And guys, I want you guys to know that one of the reasons I'm even thinking about doing this like little Northeast commie tour is because all of you have been so generous with the channel memberships over the past several months. You guys have given me the resources to be able to do the Northeast commie tour, to fund it. If I do this Northeast commie tour, I'm not going to ask for any more money. I'm not going to be like, guys, here's a GoFundMe for my Northeast commie tour. I already have it. Okay. I already have it. Because you guys are meeting channel membership goals on the fucking daily. So I don't need to ask you guys for additional funds like other YouTubers would do. I already have it. So Thank you. This is why I have the channel membership goals, because I want to be able to reinvest to create better commie content and more extensive commie content, and maybe occasionally, you know, buy a purse and stuff like that too. But it's mostly about the content.
Everybody move back. Everybody move back. Move back. Move back. Move back.
You guys just want to see my boobs. That's all you want, is to see my boobs. That's it. And bunch of perverts is what you guys are. A bunch of fucking perverts.
No, you guys are protecting this one. Of course.
Oh, you protected him! Oh, fucking piece of shit!
You would avert your eyes, Malcolm? Thank you. What a gentleman. What a gentleman. Disoy pervert. Cynthia just disobeyed Nisakan. And Hans, for that matter. Hey, listen, my boobs look great right now. I don't actually mind if people, you know, want to see. My boobs look fucking great right now. I'm actually thrilled with the situation. So. Yeah, that could be one of the places, Betty, like the protest, the revolutionary commune is what this is called. So yes, this could be one of the places where they create a family. Yup. Good point. Oh! Get him! Hit him! Throw something at him! Whoa! What the fuck's that guy doing? I'm not gonna do OnlyFans. No, I would never. Only feet. Such a dirty dog. That's only 30 minutes from your house? Nick, you could come too. That would be great. It would be great if you were there to protect me. I would really appreciate that if I'm being honest about it. That would be awesome.
Oh, copy. Hold back.
Look how weak they look. Look how weak Ice looks. The wind is making them move back.
What war is y'all ready for? We unarmed. So unarmed civilians. Y'all mad tough. Y'all mad tough, bro. Y'all mad tough. Y'all not even human, bro. Y'all some dogs. Y'all some perros. Motherfuckers acting like y'all ready for war.
I could get a vest that says press or something, though, if I'm going to do this.
We don't got no weapons. You a dog, bro. You a dog. Take that gun down. See how tough you really is. Take that gun down. See how tough you really is. Bitch ass motherfucker.
Go back to Mexico, senor. Deporto. Look how weak they look. Look how weak Ice looks and the cops look. The left is literally chasing them back, guys.
Y'all scared as hell. You don't even got weapons. You got scared as hell. Y'all some dogs, bro. Y'all pussy. Put the guns down, bro. Put the guns down. You not tough already. Hey, back on. Back on. Back on. Back on.
Yup, make water cannons great again. Yup.
Y'all
Oh, here. Oh, see the car. They gonna let the car through? I don't think they're gonna let the car through. Kind of seems to me. Oh, they just threw something. They just threw something.
Yo, ain't you the motherfucker that was dragging that woman? I see you, bro. Ain't you that motherfucker? You that motherfucker. I want you to know that y'all look dumb as shit. Y'all look dumb as fuck, bro. Y'all look stupid. Y'all look like crazy. Y'all look like motherfucking crazy. Put the foot down. I got something in there. Put them guns down. Put them guns. Put it down, bro. You like to hit women. That motherfucker right there likes to hit women.
They're completely retreating. They're completely going back inside. Wow. Wow. The cops aren't even pretending to do anything, guys. Ice pigs, go to hell. That's what they're chanting. Ice pigs, go to hell.
Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you! Fuck you! Kill yourself!
You have a heart? You like seeing them being deported? You like seeing them be killed? Get them joined there.
Oh, this woman is in trouble. This woman's in trouble. This woman is not being fucking smart. Don't do this shit. Don't ever do what this woman's doing. Don't ever do this shit, guys. Don't ever do this shit. What she's doing is so fucking dangerous. They're gonna kick the shit out of her if they get the chance. It's not brave, guys. It's fucking stupid. It's not fucking brave. No one's gonna protect her if they start beating the shit out of her. No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. They already would have if they were going to.
I'll try.
Come on, man. Alright, guys. Listen. The guideline is off limits. You can be anywhere else except for this Hey, bring that car here. This is a car here. Bring that car here. Right here.
There's a whole bunch of people trying to leave. They're not going to let them leave. They're not going to let them fucking leave. Oh!
Get the fuck back! Don't touch the car! Don't touch the car! Don't touch the car!
Es pura porquería. Chinga la migra. Es pura porquería. Chinga la migra. Es pura porquería. Chinga la migra. Es pura
La migra.
Fuck ICE. 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 Chinga la migra. Chinga la migra.
Sir, do you need some help? I'm alright. Yeah, I didn't get it hit that bad. I'll be fine.
They sprayed the live streamer.
Oh yeah, just dab it off. I'll be fine in a second.
He's recovering from being pepper sprayed in the face. BG down. BG down. He's gonna be okay though. He's gonna be fine. Give him a sec. Be patient with him. He just got sprayed in the face with pepper spray.
Use it up. I got another one for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Band coming out the side gate.
The live stream is getting recovered from being pepper sprayed, guys, so we're just giving him a second. I'll stream this for about 20 more. Just so you guys know, we do have another stream at 9 p.m. where we are going to be watching. Here, I'll show you exactly what we're going to be watching. We are going to be watching at 9 p.m. some videos of psychics channeling Charlie Kirk. Now, you might not believe in that, and if you don't, that's fine. You don't have to come and watch, but I do believe in this. And so we're going to be watching a couple of different psychics across the internet channeling Charlie Kirk, talking about, you know, his perspective from the spirit realm and all that stuff. So that's at 9 p.m. tonight. I will stream protest coverage for maybe another 20-25 minutes, but I will have to shut the stream down to go do the Disenraged stream at 9 p.m. But we can watch this for a little while more. And, you know, BG is still recovering right now, but that is what we're going to be doing around 9 p.m. tonight if you guys want to hang out for that. At least we can hear the sound. Yep, it's Tuesday, Disenraged night.
Hey Siri, send a reply. Yeah, fuckers got me.
I hope he knows his sound is on.
BG. Fuck you, Siri.
I
Fuck
hope
you,
he knows
Siri.
his sound is on. The left is benefiting from this, Betty. The left is winning, the right is losing.
Fuck
like
off,
massively.
Siri.
I hope he knows the sound is on, man. I really do. He might not know the sound is on. Yeah, hot mic, bro. Hot mic. Don't say anything you shouldn't say. We're back. We're back. Well done, bro. You can do it. It sucks getting pepper sprayed. We know. You can do it, dude. We believe in you. Yo, Malcolm! Malcolm in with the 5 W's to you, sir. He wanted to see us get over 150. Thank you, Malcolm. I very much appreciate your generosity. Everyone give Malcolm W's, please. Oh, now the sound's up. Now he turns the sound off. BG was texting, be like, bro, your sound's on. Turn the fucking sound off. Now he turns this. This is what they do when they're talking to people. They turn the sound off. That's why they do it. It's not a mistake, I don't think. Although something's going on, and I really wish he would go and cover that. Goal and a half. Yeah, good day, guys. Goal and a half. That is a good day. That is a good day of streaming. Great for, yeah, I agree, Cynthia. Great for a Tuesday night. Yo, why are they all running, though? Why are they all running? Why isn't BG running with them? I got hit with, I got pepperballed outside the Portland Ice facility. That was a really interesting experience for me. I don't know if I'd rather get tased, though, if I'm being honest about it. I don't think I would like getting tased. I don't think I want to get tased, but I didn't actually think the pepper balls kind of suck for like a couple of minutes, but it clears out all your sinuses. You can breathe great after that. Yeah, BG coordinating with Antifa. BG secret Antifa. Confirmed. Bro, can you turn back on the sound? BG, can you turn on the sound? He's probably on the phone is what's happening. Oh, it's back. Thank you. Uh-oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? Uh-oh, they're arresting someone. Arrest! 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 Arrest!
Y'all mad talk. Y'all mad talk. Scooter! Come on, let's go! Let's go! They're chasing. Fuck you, you fucking coward! Fuck us! You fucking coward!
That's a green keffiyeh. I kind of like that one if I'm being honest about it. Maybe I should get a green keffiyeh. This is only going to make more people go down there. Maybe I should go there. It is like Lord of the Flies, isn't it, Cynthia? It is.
pig inside, you little pieces of shit.
They can't even get their cars out.
A nice popsicle. You guys are grown ass.
They're literally just trying to get the cars out.
That's off the baby shit, y'all. You have a game, you fucking car to catch that guy. You can outrun any one of you. Put them guns down, see how tough you really is. You're gonna take your fucking taser, you little coward pieces of shit. Did Stephen Miller fuck you up the ass and make you look like him?
Wow. That was aggressive. That was a little aggressive, if I'm being honest about it. A little aggressive.
You know, you don't have to take that kind of abuse from him.
You know, real.
That's what it looks like to be an asshole, right there.
He got ran. They got him out of their fucking car and chased him down. I know a lawyer outraged.
Uh-oh, sound's off again. Talking again. Guys, we're doing a little extra bonus protest coverage today. I'm going to be shutting this down in about 15 minutes, but we'll hang out tonight. Maybe, Hans. That's a good theory. You could be right about that.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. What? You didn't fucking do that anytime you fucking do it. Fucking fuck ice! Fuck ice! Oink oink, little piggies! Fuck ice! 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 Fuck ice!
Yeah, breaking news. Leftists are mad about anti-ice stuff. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk it? Leftists doing anti-ice shit? Wow.
Those little pricks! All you guys got guns and vests! You're afraid of like 10 people!
This is in New Jersey. Be like Renee, get in the way. That's what they're chanting. Be like Renee, get in the way. No, this is the same protesting that's been going on for a year and a half that your hero Trump has done nothing about. So no, this is not being bored. No, wrong, incorrect, conservative. Be like Renee, get in the way. Gigra la migra. You guys understand, they're calling for people to become martyrs. That's a call for people to become martyrs.
Did one car just go up? But I don't know why and where.
Love it. Be like Renee. I don't watch. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's a good thing, Lisa O'Grady, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. I don't think the left needs more martyrs. Maybe less martyrs would be better. Oh, it sounds off again. It's over. All right. Guys, it does look like things have calmed down outside the ICE facility, at least for the moment. So I think this might be a pretty good place to end the stream so I can have a little break before our 9 p.m. stream. So it looks like things are relatively calm, but I do want to send everyone over to BG on the Scene. Let me put the BG on the Scene link in the chat. And everyone should subscribe to BG on the Scene. Everyone should support what he's doing. I think there's like a team of them that are all over the country, and they do excellent on-the-ground coverage. So if you want to keep watching, please head over to his stream. And again, I will be going live again at 9 p.m. when we will be watching some videos about channeling Charlie Kirk. So thank you guys for everyone who is so generous, donating 152 new channel memberships today. Welcome to all of our new channel members. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in super chats. Thank you again to everyone who donated so many channel memberships. You guys allow me to do what I do. I'm 100% independently funded, just like you. And I'll be back in like 20 minutes, okay? And then we'll watch stuff about Charlie Kirk, and we'll have a little bit of a night. And maybe I'll do protest coverage tomorrow. Guys, I was thinking about doing it earlier today, and then I was just like, I just didn't want to. But maybe if shit's popping off tomorrow early, I will just fire up the stream and we'll do protest coverage all day. Maybe I'll do that. The streamers are finally on the ground. The streamers are finally doing their fucking jobs. I support this. I support this. All right, guys. That's it. Take care. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.